Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, a couple on the run takes refuge with relatives, but decides that it's much better to spend a couple of days committing brutal, torturous murders. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. You almost forgot, I think, there. You're like, oh, yeah, what the hell's my name again?
I'm trying to remember who I am.
Who am I? It's a deep question.
Well, then I have to be Jimmie.
It must be Jimmie. It must be. There you go. So thank you so much for joining us. We have an absolutely wild case for you today, as we always do when we travel down to Mississippi. All those S's and P's get some murdering happening, we'll put it that way.
It's a wild place.
It's a lot, so we'll get to that very quickly. First of all, thank you for everything. Your reviews, whatever app you're listening on, 5 stars is very helpful, so please do that. Also, check out shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get all of the merchandise, coloring book. There's the Murder Birds shirts and things and mugs and stuff. Get all your stuff on there. Get tickets to live shows. two in particular that we know have tickets remaining. New Orleans in July.
Yeah.
Come out, New Orleans. What are you doing? We're coming all the way to the Gulf Coast. We usually don't go down that far, and we're coming down there, so make it worth it, damn it. And then also Milwaukee in August. There's some tickets for that because we're at the Paps. It's a big, giant theater, so come check that out. Make it our biggest show ever, which it could be. So we're very, very excited. We cannot wait. That is shutupandgivememurder.com. Another place you can get very, very cool stuff. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Oh, my goodness. There's so much good stuff there. Not only will you get the entire back catalog of 150 episodes or something, you'll get all of that. In addition, you're going to get access to not only Small Town Murders bonus, but also crime and sports bonus. You get it all. You get it all. Anybody $5 or above, and you'll get a shout-out at the end of the show.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. This week, the 2 episodes you're going to get, crime and sports episode, you're going to get the downfall of Bobby Knight, who was the quintessential American college basketball coach, whose temper just went off the rails. Which it always was going off the rails, but they finally held him accountable for it, and it's a pretty wild story of his downfall, the final year of it all.
Yeah.
And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to base it around like an almost 30-year-old documentary. It's on HBO Max called Lock Up Rikers Island. We've talked about it before. We'll get into it with extreme detail, disgusting detail, and then we'll talk about some other prison stuff as well. It'll be nice and gross and all sorts of prison-y stuff. That's patreon.com/crime and sports, where you can get it all. And quickly, the disclaimer, it's a comedy show.
It is.
That's what we're doing here. It's a comedy show. We're comedians. The case is real. We wish it wasn't. We honestly, we swear, we wish these things didn't happen. We do. But they happened, and so we're going to have to talk about them. But what we do, we go out of our way not to do here, Jimmy, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. And that's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, holy crap, do we have a crazy story. If not, if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, I don't know, maybe turn it off. I don't know what the hell to tell you. Or listen and don't complain if you don't like it because you've been warned. Either one, fuck it, here we are. Let's do this, Jimmy. Let's sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, shut up.
Shut up and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? Let's get it meandering. We're in New Mexico last week, as we know.
We were.
This week, we're going to head back east, stay down south, though, and we're going to go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now, Hattiesburg, it's down in southeastern Mississippi. It's actually very, very close to Petal, Mississippi, which is an episode we did 4 years ago or something in Mississippi.
Oh,
I think it was our...
It's like flower petal, right?
It was just petal, yeah, but spelled like flower petal, exactly. So that was I want to say like our second Mississippi episode. It was in our first 100 episodes. It was a long, long time ago. This is about an hour 45 to Jackson, Mississippi, about an hour 15 over to Biloxi, Mississippi, if you want to get the blues, according to Matthew Broderick. And then about an hour over to Loosedale, Mississippi, which was our last Mississippi episode. Episode 215, The Creepy Corpse Snuggler, which was a...
Loosedale. Huh?
Loosedale, yeah. Wasn't it Loosedale?
I don't know. This is
Lucedale. Yeah, you were here. It's a refresher mainly. You were definitely here for it.
I'm real good at this part.
This is in Forest County, like a forest. Area code 601, and the motto here is the Hub City.
The hub of what?
The hub of, I don't know. The hub of humidity. I don't know what there's a lot of humidity here, I bet. I bet you could probably bottle that shit up, I would imagine. It's thick.
There
was a lot of railroads through here. That's why it was the hubs.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of railroads crossed through here, so this was like the middle of it all, kind of the hub city of basically a bunch of railroads that were going other more interesting populous places, and then this was the hub of them all. So if you lived here, you could really get anywhere quickly.
Shit.
1882, this town was founded. This is a post-Civil War town, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's 1882. It was founded by civil engineer William Hardy, and it was named for his wife, who was named Hattie. Well, there you go. That's where you get the name from. It's nothing more complicated than that. It was incorporated about 2 years later. It had a population of about 400. They had a lot of lumber and railroad and, all that kind of shit going on here.
Successful.
So, yeah, there's a lot of industry, and because the railroad, being that it was like a hub that went out to all these other places, if you had things that needed to be shipped out, it was easy to do. It was less expensive, so you could ship it to more places. And apparently there's a decent amount of jobs here. There was at some point here. Now, in the 60s, it's too much to even get into because it would take its own episode. But this was a real hotbed of civil rights action in the 60s. There was a whole bunch of shit going on here.
For the wrong reason or the good
no. Bad stuff going on here. The county registrar here who would register voters was the first one in the country to be tried criminally for with the Civil Rights Act for violating
for allowing black people to vote.
Not allowing black people to vote. That was the thing. At one point they had almost 100% white registration and 1% black registration. So that
doesn't seem accurate.
That's on purpose. It feels like so. It was a problem. Yeah. So
it feels like that doesn't represent the cloth of the South.
Not really, especially when you hear the demographic numbers. You're like, whoa, that should be. Wow.
What happened?
So either way, so there you go. But this, like I said, that would take 2 hours to talk about because there's so much that happened there. Just know some bad stuff happened here in the 1960s. Never mind 1860s.
A few years ago. That's disappointing.
Reviews of this town, 4 stars. Here's one. Quote, much better than most of Mississippi. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Not a lot of recreational activities, though. Almost no public transit or sidewalks are the biggest negatives. No sidewalks?
How do you not have sidewalks?
Why are there no sidewalks?
I guess Florida hates them, too. There's not a lot of... in neighborhoods and such.
Well, you're just going to get eaten by an alligator if you're walking on the sidewalk anyway. So you shouldn't be walking. That's for your safety. Let's go inside or get in a screened area. Or, you know how Florida is. You don't
drive a vehicle.
Yeah, you don't actually enjoy outdoors with your feet on the grass. That's not how it works. You're either screened in or in a vehicle. That's how Florida works. I moved down there for the weather, so I can never be outside.
Florida has that fat blade grass, though, that feels fantastic to walk on. It's like almost a banana tree beneath your feet. It's awesome.
But it's thick, too. Little gators hiding there. They're going to bite you. Watch out. I'm telling you. It's all gators, Jimmy.
Little baby gates.
Some of those blades of grass aren't even blades of grass. They're just baby gators. They're just tiny gators that look like they know how to camouflage themselves. So they can bite you.
Gator tails. They hide with their face in the ground.
Yeah, and then they come up and bite you. Pow. It's Florida. Yeah, I don't make the rules here. So no sidewalks. 3 stars. The store was clean. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear.
Thank God.
The store. I know there's more than one store here.
Yeah.
The store was clean. Food was hot. Service, spelled S-U-R-V-I-S-E, the less common spelling of service.
That's not it at all.
Servise, like supervise. It looks more like supervise, and they just forgot the per. Was fast and friendly. Manager needs to be more friendly.
Okay.
I don't know what store that is. This is on this isn't Yelp. This is
right.
This is
a website.
This is from niche.com that has reviews of towns. So you went to this specific and didn't mention what restaurant you were talking about. You just the store. Okay.
There must be one store then, yes? No. Hattiesburg's pretty big,
It's a pretty big town. Yeah, it's actually a little bigger than most of our towns.
Yeah.
Here's 2 stars. As I said before, I don't know who this is, but apparently they've been speaking out in the past. It was a pretty bad and rundown neighborhood. However, the cost of living was low, and it was a good location. Okay, well, not if it was a rundown neighborhood. That's not a good location. And then here's 1 star. This person does not a big fan of Hattiesburg. They hate it. This sounds like I wrote it for fucking Cleveland or Omaha. 1 star, nuisance of a city. That's amazing. Nuisance. Every neighbor you will smoke weed and cigs in unit and won't go outside. Well, you live in an apartment complex. If you live in an apartment complex, because I've lived in plenty of them, You can't expect comfort. You just can't. You have to expect to deal with horrible shit until you can get out of there. That's an apartment complex.
There is not 500 units of everybody that has the same lifestyle.
No.
So that's what you deal with.
Remember my last one in Phoenix when the guys downstairs would like sweat down 40 pounds of onions every night? You have to shut the windows because there'd be this waft of onion. They were just sweating down onions, and then there was fucking guys blowing each other right outside my window. There's a lot going on. You deal with it.
Mine, I had people upstairs that fucked once a week and sounded like the ghosts in Beetlejuice. It was so annoying. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh. What about, I had a next door neighbor that used to just walk.
How they fucked.
This dude used to walk around the complex in his robe. Remember that? In like a short, like it was like his girlfriend's robe, and he had like this man bun, and I'd be like, you don't strut around like that.
That's not yours.
Balls dangling out the bottom of the thing. It's fucking disgusting.
Apartment complex life is brutal.
It's brutal.
That's not easy.
So they won't go outside. All you smell is weed in public, no matter what time. Loud, reckless driving with chargers, and race cars and bikes on the road. There's race cars here? Okay, that's sounding better every minute.
Weed and race cars.
Race cars. Maybe I misjudged Hattiesburg. I was a little too quick to the punch there. Cops absolutely do nothing to improve the city, and the police dispatchers are rude and downplay incidents. Oh, no. Not a good place to live. Go to Petal, only 5 minutes away. So there you go. Population here, 45,806 in Hattiesburg.
That's a lot.
So there's more than one store, definitely. There's 53% females. A lot of females here. That's a lot. There's a college involved here, too. That's why. And college enrollment is way more female than male, generally.
Got it.
So median age here, 28.7, which can be explained a lot by colleges. The 25 to 34 is like almost 18% of the people, which is way more than it usually is.
Really?
So, 34% are single with children. It's normally 10.
Oh.
So, that's 34%. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Putting out around here.
I guess so, yeah. Race of this town, 40.5% white, 53.5% black, 1% Asian, and that's about all you got there. So it's you got two or more races.
1% of half the population votes, huh, James?
That's what I mean. Of more than half the population. The rest not interested in the 60s. You know what? Just got other concerns right now. Real busy. 3% Hispanic as well. Religion. Oh boy, yeah, you know this is going to be heavy here. 69% of people here are religious. It's usually 50-50, and 31% of the people here are Baptists. As we know, the Baptists are the Catholics of the South.
The
deep South. The deep South. Deep South. This is you have to say it like that when you say deep South around here.
Cut to Barry White.
Deep South. So 0.2% Jewish, which is less than or more than I expected, honestly.
Shockingly high.
Yeah, shockingly high. Last election, 43.5% voted Democrat, 54.6% Republican, 2% Independent. The unemployment rate here, a little bit higher than normal, but not anything to be concerned about. The problem is the median household income is about half of the rest of the country.
31?
It is $27,827.
Holy shit.
It's about 54 in the rest of the country, so just about half of the normal median household income. That's a problem.
Oh, my God.
Not so much if you're super young. That's the thing. If you're 22 and you're making that, that's fine. But if you're, 36 and you have 3 kids, that's another issue. That's a problem.
If you're 20 and in college, that's fantastic.
Oh, you're doing great.
35 and 2 kids, this is fucked.
Now you got an issue. Cost of living, 100 is overall, average, regular. Mm-hmm. Here it is 83. The housing is the low one. It's 65. Median home cost $152,200. So it is cheap.
Who gives a shit?
But there's no money.
$27,000, you can't buy it anyway.
Well, we have for you, if we've convinced you, damn it, that Hattiesburg is the place for you, we have for you the Hattiesburg, Mississippi Real Estate Report. All right, your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $900. So that's, cheaper than the national average, but not like to buy a house. That's super cheap. Here's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2,172 square foot shithole. It's a shithole.
2,000 square feet of nothing?
Of dump. There's water damage. The ceiling's fallen down. There's shit. There's wood that's put patched on things to hold shit up. It looks like if you took the patches off, the shit would collapse. It's on pillars. It's not good, man.
Is it like in the cartoons, two pieces of 2x4s over each other?
Yeah. Just one nail in the middle, and you could spin it if you want. I think it's like that. One of those. There's shit. It also looks like a hoarder lived here, too. There's shit everywhere. There's a mini fridge just sitting there that you just know stinks inside. It's the ceiling all over the floor.
Oh, no.
Moldy. Looks a little on the moldy side. If there's no dehumidifier running all the time in Mississippi, you're in trouble. $40,000 for that, though. So you could raise
2,000 square foot house for $40,000.
Raise it and use the foundation. That's all I can say. Here's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square foot house. It's little tiny house.
It's an actual house?
It's a little box, little rectangular box. Tiny. Just you want to live in it almost, like a tiny house, like it could be on HGTV. This is the one. $90,000 for this tiny little thing. At least it's not falling apart. Then here's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,150 square foot.
Doing well.
It's an old plantation mansion looking place. It's one of those. It looks like an old southern, like a governor lives there or some shit. It's so haunted. Jimmie, I know you're not a ghost guy, but you could, for fuck's sake, it's creepy. Through pictures, there's...
Just looking at it.
You feel spirits and shit. It's not good. It's a little weird. It's just kind of it's a little farty, needs some updating, but, overall it could be brought up to something very nice, I guess.
4,000 square feet. It's got potential.
It's big. $295,000 for that. So
for 4,000 square foot
4,100 square foot of old. So I don't know if there's structural issues or electrical problems or anything like that, but either way, things to do here. Okay, here we go. There's a couple of things. First of all, Hubfest. Oh, baby. Oh, Hubfest. They're very excited to downtown Hattiesburg for a day of food, music, arts, and fun. They're very excited to have who just won the American Country Music Awards Song of the Year and New Female Artist of the Year headliner Lainey Wilson. They got her. I don't know who that is.
I don't know her.
But they got her. But Lainey will be on the main stage at 3:30 p.m.
I love when you say Lainey.
Lainey. Oh, Lainey.
You clearly hate her just based on her name and her profession.
I don't know anything about Lainey, but I don't want to watch her in the hot fucking Mississippi sun at 3:30 p.m. at all. I just don't want to do it.
When is this? Is
I'm
this
not
in
interested.
Fall or is it in summer?
It's in late March, which is still 98 degrees, 4,000% humidity in southern Mississippi by then. It's hot. It's always hot there, I feel like.
Sing, Lainey, sing.
Come on, Lainey, make this worthwhile. So all sorts of people. Elsie is another band. I don't know what that is. Elsie. No. Sean Stamali.
Oh, this feels so good. This is the first time I don't recognize the country singer.
And Lainey Wilson. And then I found there's other ones here, other acts. We have, what do we have here? Eric Woods. Okay. Nick's Icemen. I don't know if that's a band or just some company that's going to bring ice to everybody. The Icemen come at 11:45. They're playing at 11:45 a.m., which is a bad sign.
That's when they have to re-ice down the kegs.
I think that's what it is. That's what the Icemen are coming. Here they are. The J5s. I don't know what the fuck that is. Ty Traherne. Whoa, that sounds really hicky. What else we got? Sizzle Tooth. Sizzle Tooth?
It's the only one that's left?
It sounds like Sizzle Tooth sounds like random words that they put together, just like a noun, and they're just like one, boom, Sizzle Tooth, cool. Like if you were born, pick your day, and that's your porn name or some shit, like some dumb fucking meme. That's what it is there. Sizzle Tooth is my band name.
I love that it's singular.
One, not Sizzle Teeth.
It's pretty awesome that it's not Sizzle Teeth.
Only one Sizzle Tooth. At 2 p.m., Cosmic Gray is playing, or Cosmic Gravy, I'm sorry, which is even weirder. Cosmic Gravy. Then Zach Koch, 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 K-O-C-H, Koch, Koch, either way. Then what else we have? J.P. Williams. Finally, the Coal Hill Trio.
No.
That sounds good. And there's going to be kid zones. Don't forget about that. They're going to have obstacle courses, jump houses, bungee jumps, and more. So there's all that.
All that set to both kinds of music, James. Country and Western.
Country and Western. And Southern. And also some bluegrass also mixed in there. With just some good old-fashioned hillbilly banjo mixed in. It's going to be a real diverse day of music. It's going to be great. Perfect. Right?
The diversity.
Oh, it's going to be great. Any kind of music you want to hear. As long as there's a banjo and a fiddle involved in it, you're going to hear it.
All kinds of singing, yodeling.
Oh, everything from yodeling to country crooning. It's going to be got it all. Everything here. Then there's also a Dolly Parton impersonation contest. That's going to take place. That's good. And then follow that. The headline of the night is the Kenny Rogers impersonation contest. So that's the one they really get into. Then finally, they all have 9 o'clock. They round out the evening with a worshipful prayer to Dale Earnhardt, and then it's over.
And a toast to King George, and we move on.
And we move the fuck on.
Holy fuck, man.
Also, there is the Renaissance Festival that takes place at the Hattiesburg Zoo. So you have Ren Fair and Zoo at the same time.
That weather with those smells, and then people are going to put all those clothes on and up the stink volume.
The smell of the animal shit is the only thing that could cover the stink of these people running around in 8 layers of clothes in fucking Hattiesburg.
Of 1600s clothes.
Yeah. It's not their fault. Anybody would stink wearing it, but it's going to be rough. So you got to mix in the smell of elephant shit, and it really tampers it down a little.
Spinal Tap turning the crank up to 11, right? On the smell. Jesus.
We have also, there's going to be candle making, butter churning. This is our annual conservation quest to knighthood. Includes candle making, butter churning, horseshoe tossing, archery shooting, and apothecary training as well.
Okay.
Make some perfumes and shit. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, of course. The property crime is about double the national average.
Oh.
Double. Lot. Yeah, there's some property crime going on.
Yeah.
Although violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, just below the national average. So, I don't know.
Crime into a certain level.
Yeah, maybe there's some tourism. That whenever there's anybody visiting, they're always more willing to piss in the streets and break things and steal shit because they don't live there. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. Or also, if there's college kids around there, that's when you're going to get your, drinking in the streets and things like that.
The buffoonery.
That counts under property crime. So, okay. That said, let's talk about a murder, I think. What do you say here? Let's do this. Okay. Well, this is, boy, what a crazy one. Let's go back in time, Jimmie, shall we? Okay. We're going back. Not too far. Yeah. This is, you can break things into there's World War II times, and then from after World War II to the late 60s to the mid 60s is that's black and white times. You know what I mean? There's old times, that's old times pre-war, and then post World War II is black and white times, and hippie time, disco time. This is into text messaging time. We're past internet time, and now 2004 we're into there's actual text messaging, and This is normal. There's MySpace at this point. Even social media exists in this day and age. So let's talk about a couple people who have no use for any of that shit. Okay. Let's talk about, first of all, Lisa Jo Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Joe is J-O, by the way. Lisa Jo. Lisa Jo.
His middle name.
Is it? Lisa Jo?
Yep.
Or just Joe?
It's Kelly Jo.
Kelly Jo. There you go. Well, there you go. So she's 31 years old, Lisa Jo Chamberlain, and she has 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter, all by 3 different men over time here. Her life is a disaster. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. She's made some bad choices in her life, and not good. The father of her second child was super abusive as well.
Oh, boy.
Which is perfect. She, this is fucking interesting. She met her current boyfriend, whose name is Roger Lee Gillett. We'll talk about him in a minute and all of his. He's another fucking prize. She met him through the father of her second child, the abusive one.
He hooked her up with a friend.
No, he'd been in jail with him. They were in jail together.
Oh.
And they met somehow on a visit. You know how that is. You catch somebody's eye across the visiting room, and you're like, wow, I wonder if he stabbed somebody in the face. Sexy. Yeah. And you have to get with them. You know how it is.
Yeah.
If he's half as abusive as the guy I'm with, this is going to be hot. Like, no, you shouldn't think like that. This is wrong.
Prison lizard skin on that guy.
Fuck, this is a Love After Lockup episode in the making here. So she ends up with Gillett. I guess maybe he got out first. I don't know. Either way.
Race, yeah.
Yeah, race, yeah. Oh, fuck, I'm going to hook up with your girlfriend. No. Shaking the bars. This relationship is obviously a mess because he's a mess and she's a mess. And by the way, there's a bunch of meth involved in their relationship also. They both shoot meth. So that's a problem.
They're shooting meth?
Oh, they're shooting meth. No, this is full blown. They're making it, shooting it. Wait till you hear about these two. My God, it is just like they're like the prince and princess of scum is what they are. The king and queen. It's not even the prince and princess. King and queen of just fucking scumbag couples. So
how do you, I don't, it's beyond me. I get it. You're so far gone that you can only, that shooting it gets it in there faster, but fuck, man.
Oh, yeah.
That far gone.
Oh, that far gone. Once you're shooting meth, you have, wow.
All bets are off, man. It's off.
I don't even
rails.
know. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to get off of that. Like, that's good luck. That's hard.
Involved.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, anyway, they have a huge stormy relationship. They fight like cats and dogs, verbally, physically. They attack each other. They're fucking, it's a mess. They both come from terrible backgrounds, and they're both violent. They're both, they have tempers. At one point, he tried to drown her.
Jesus. Are all the babies in the house for this?
No, her children have long been taken away from her. Right. Her oldest kid is 15 or something, and they've all been long taken away from her. She has no...
They're all wards of the state.
Being taken care of by relatives. Okay. She's shooting meth. She has no time to...
Thank God. At least she's...
No time to drop the kids off at school here. Well, mommy's shooting meth since fucking 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I can't drop you off.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I'm with my scumbag boyfriend who just tried to drown me. Mommy's hair's wet. I don't want to go out and get pneumonia. Like, this is crazy. Run away. And this is what I mean. Like, I don't even know what the solution is at this point because you're shooting meth to, like, once you're shooting meth, you're in dope sick love at this point. So I don't know how you.
It's so far in the shitter. Like,
how do you
even turn that around? How do you begin to turn that around? You have to leave and be homeless, I guess. How do you even ask for help?
It's a plane and a full nosedive, like.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been nosediving for 20,000 feet. I don't know if you can pull out of it at this point. You're gonna hit the mountain no matter what now.
Yeah, you've been hearing the alarm telling you to level off. What are you doing?
Yeah, no good. So, but they stayed together somehow. Lisa she's like I said, she's got all sorts of problems from her childhood all the way through. Now, she started drinking when she's about 12 years old, heavily, not just, experimenting.
Getting hammered.
Well, she was doing it heavily because by 13, she was using meth on a regular basis.
Holy shit.
13 using meth on a regular basis. Regular basis.
Oh, boy.
And that was, according to her, that was just to get out of the house because it was such a terrible environment she was in, so...
Can you imagine?
I mean, Jesus, that's awful for a kid. If you have to do meth to get away from your scary parents, that means your parents suck worse than meth. That's rough. Yeah. It's a rough environment. She said it was easier to come back to the house and see what was going on there when she was high on meth. That would make everything a little more easier to cope with. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Understandable, I guess.
What is that situation?
A lot of violence, a lot of bad stuff going on between her.
Stomach hurts already.
Between mother and stepfather and she's got stepbrothers. It's a real fucking mess there. She, from the time she's 13 all the way till 2004, right now she's been doing meth. So it's been from 8th grade till now. It's been all meth all the time, and progressively worse to the point of shooting it all the time now. So she was also at one point diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in one of her jail stints because she's arrested constantly is the other issue with her.
Yeah, she's always got meth.
Yeah, when you always have drugs on you and you're known wherever you are in that town as one of the one of the methies, you're getting rolled all the time. I mean, it's one of those deals. So she has that, which is rough, and she's got a lot of problems. Her psychiatrist at one point says this, quote, "I guess the way I would sum it up is as an accumulative effect and growing mental and emotional disturbance. This isn't a very clinical term, but I'll just say it this way, and I think we'll all understand it. Lisa was a psychological mess."
Yeah.
She's
fucked up.
That's her doctor. There's so much that he's like, I don't even know how to put like a really... Yeah. Put a tail on this. I'm just going to fucking tell you in layman's terms. She's a mess. Her head's a fucking... Like, it's too much to even put into medical terms. I'd have to get 3 different books out. It's just too much.
You know how you describe your friend as a mess?
Yeah.
She's not a mess.
No.
I'll show you a mess.
This is a mess. It's got track marks, a mess usually.
Yeah.
And it had grown starting in her early childhood with things that she couldn't help, but then choices that she made over time, and not having the tools, having never had role models or support system, and having not taken some of the opportunities that she did have, which is what people do. I mean, she fucked up a lot. When she got later on in her life, her life has spun out of control, he says. So, by the way, she's never divorced from her first husband also. Like, this is from 15 fucking years ago, but she's never... They're still legally married, so that's a weird thing. Very strange.
Expensive.
It is expensive, yeah. And if you want to buy meth to shoot in your arm, it's more difficult. The court, according to the family court, she abandoned her 3 children there. Her oldest boy was 15 years old in 2004. She has been arrested up until 2004 here. She's been arrested 15 times for all sorts of various things ranging.
Arrested 15 times.
Arrested 15 times. Yeah, not had 15 charges because that could come from one arrest. She's been arrested 15 different times.
But also not just had 15 times interactions with the police.
Oh, no. Arrested. Yeah, they put the cuffs on her. Everything from, driving under the influence to drugs to assaults to disorderly conducts to you name it. She's been arrested for it. She's doing it. So she was living in Oregon, which is where she's from. She grew up in Oregon and grew up there her whole life. And that's where, in jail, through her second child's father, she met a real prize named Roger Lee Gillett, who in early 2004 is 29 years old, about to turn 30. And if you want to say one thing, okay, you can put different components together. You know what I mean? Like if you have something that's combustible, but then you put it with something that's not, it's not combustible. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you make a volcano when you're a kid in a science class, I never did that because I'm sure I would have spaced it. But when they do that, it was because they mixed, I don't know what the fuck is like vinegar and baking powder or some shit.
Baking soda.
Baking soda. I don't know. Yeah. See, I never did this stuff. So if you mix those together, I didn't graduate high school. I'm a moron. I apologize. So if you mix those things together and they explode, but if you put baking soda in there and you put, fucking sugar on top of it, nothing happens. You know what I mean?
You put vinegar into salt, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of combinations that don't cause an immediate fucking lava explosion into the air.
Right.
Then there's things that really, really don't go together, and they're very combustible, and that would describe Lisa Jo Chamberlain and Roger Lee Gillett perfectly. These are two people that never needed to meet each other, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. This is, if we knew ahead of time, we should have a court order to keep them on separate sides of the country, so they'll never, ever cross each other's paths.
Yeah.
Like, it's that bad. Jesus, this guy's a fucking mess. He's from Kansas originally. The most we know about him in his early life is that he has one relative who, quote, thinks he attended college at some point.
I don't know. I think
that's a quote from her. Thinks he attended, didn't graduate or attended college at some point. He went one day to look it over. We don't know, but he attended it at one point. At some point,
picked up a couple of flyers from the campus. We don't know why he was there.
Went down, tried to talk to girls. You know how it goes. Didn't quite work out.
Time I ever stepped foot on a campus was to fuck with the electricity there.
Yeah, no, he attended. Yeah, I love that. I have attended college too. I've never went to a class, but I've attended. I've been to a college before.
Yeah.
Shit. So they, like I said, met in Oregon. They lived together in Oregon for a little while, a few months.
Yeah.
And then they decide, let's move on. Let's get out of here. And we're moving to Russell, Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell, Kansas.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. And we do this, and we never heard of it. So that's telling you something. So they moved to Russell, Kansas, where Gillett, a bunch of his relatives live there because he's from there. So they can stay with some of his relatives. And oh boy, what a sweet couple this is. You really root for a couple of kids like this, don't you? Just arms all tied off.
To what?
Sitting around. I don't know, driving to the ocean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Depends on what you're rooting for him for.
I don't know what I'm rooting for here.
On a couple of things.
I'm rooting for something. I'm rooting for them to drive opposite directions of each other to different hospitals to fix themselves. Because this is a mess.
For him to go try to train wild gators.
That would be this guy seems like the perfect candidate for that. By the way, Roger Lee Gillett, crocodile trainer, or gator trainer, seems like the perfect job for him. Really does. By the way, him too. Rip roaring meth addiction here. This guy.
Of course.
Oh, I mean, fucking absolutely out of control meth addiction to this guy too. So,
Christ.
Yeah, that's again adds to the the fitness for him to wrestle fucking gators, I believe.
Some real mystique happening.
Yeah, he comes out, like I said, he comes out arm tied off, needle hanging out. He's like, where are them gators at? And you just look, you point your kids in that direction. You go, watch, kids, he's going to wrestle a gator.
Untying a rubber band tourniquet.
Mom, this kind of sucks. What do you expect? It's $4. It was on the side of the road. We didn't plan this. We thought it might be fun for you. Take some fucking pictures.
Give it a second, kid. That thing's eating him today. Yeah. I guarantee it.
You might see a man get eaten, and then you might see an alligator that's got a meth high from his bloodstream. Both these things are things we're not going to see in the city, kids. Focus.
If he ingests that man, he will be addicted to meth in 10 minutes.
Oh, God, hooked on it. Chasing after people, snapping, trying to get in their pockets.
His face and shit.
The gator will be trying to get in people's pockets in 5 minutes. No good.
Trying to sell you a broken TV.
Just buy it. Just buy it. It's an Allen. Just buy it.
It's a Panasonic.
But why does he even have the TV? He could just take our money. I don't know. That's just part of the weird transaction. Just give him money and we'll take the TV and just let him walk away, okay?
We're buying a TV from a gator. Who
it's okay.
cares?
We'll throw it out later. It doesn't matter. I understand we don't need the TV. I know it doesn't work and it has no power cord. Just give it. Just stop, okay? It's a fucking gator. Just give it your money. So he went to college at some point, attended. They go to Russell, Kansas, like I said. They're living with some of his relatives. During this time, they're there, Jimmie, a very short time. They're not there 10 years before they... already come to the attention of law enforcement. No, they come to the attention of Kansas law enforcement, like the Bureau of Investigation, not even just some cops driving around.
Oh, my God. State Bureau.
State Bureau of Investigation. They become concerned that the couple is possibly manufacturing crystal meth. And they're concerned about that's an issue they need to get involved with. So they begin an investigation. Now, around 2004, March of 2004, this investigation's coming to a head, and they're writing warrants, and they're ready to bust the whole thing, put these two away for a long time, take down the meth operation, do all this. But before any warrants can be served, there's fresh ink on these warrants. Poof, they're gone. Like Kaiser Sose, they fucking gone into the night. Just, where'd they go? Where's Lisa, Joe, and Roger? I don't know. Gone. Out of there. Oh, yeah. They... packed up her little blue Mitsubishi Eclipse that she drives, and they left Russell, Kansas, headed for Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
You betcha. Yeah.
He almost said Pennsylvania. Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania. You tried to get away with that.
Hattiesburg, Jesus Christ.
It sounds like a town in Pennsylvania, though. Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania. I'd say, okay, yeah.
It's because of Harrisburg, isn't it?
It's Harrisburg, and it's also, in my mind...
And it's because of how New Yorkers say Harrisburg.
Well, there's Aunt Hattie's Pretzels.
Harrisburg.
Well, we just draw out the A's. That's fine. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That's
you just
all right.
pronounce it different.
It's different, all right. It's wrong, I understand. That's fine, but that's how it comes out. What do you want from me?
So is that what it is? Harrisburg and Hattiesburg? Is that the thing?
Isn't there an Aunt Hattie's Pretzels too?
Yeah, there is Aunt Hattie's Pretzels.
I think of pretzels, which makes me think of like that region and maybe Pennsylvania too. I know it's mainly
got to
like
be
Wisconsin,
Harrisburg
but
that does it to me.
Yeah, maybe it's Hattiesburg, Harrisburg. Yeah, probably.
Or is there a Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania?
There's probably a Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania. Somebody's fucking wife must have been named Hattie in Pennsylvania, right? Some rich asshole's wife was named Hattie, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's a Hattiesburg. So they pack up the Eclipse and head for Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania or Mississippi, depending.
Do we know why they went there? Did they have family?
We know exactly why they went there. Okay. They're heading.
How do you go from
Oregon to Mississippi?
Yeah, with a stopover in Kansas.
Yeah. They're going the reverse Oregon Trail is what they're doing. I played this game a lot the forward way. We gonna play it backwards. See how that plays out. Shit's a little different. Gonna be different now.
See if when we go in reverse that I get healthy.
All my dead relatives will come back to life. They done shit themselves to death on the trail.
All these sores will heal up.
All heal up. All the dysentery. All the cholera is all going to heal right up. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. My oxen going to come back to life. And all the shit I lost trying to get across that creek's going to come back to me.
Everything will get better.
Damn it, I told him no Ford that guy. Hire the fucking guy. Oh, God damn it, never mind. So they're headed for a cousin of Roger Gillett. It's his first cousin, as a matter of fact. So somebody he's close to. Vernon Hewlett. Vernon Hewlett, Hullett. Old Vernon Hewlett. Vernon Hewlett's 34 years old, and he lives in a wood frame 3-bedroom house. He's got a nice little house, little room there. If you need to stay here for a minute, I understand when the law's a biting on your heels with all them meth warrants, you might need a place to hole up for a little while. You know what I mean?
Does Vernon live alone?
No, of course he doesn't live alone. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. We'll get to Vernon's housemates in a moment. Does anybody live alone around here, Jimmie? In this whole story, no. In any of our stories, is anybody just living alone? If you live alone, you have no reason to kill anybody. Yeah. Relax. You have all the time in the world. Do whatever you want. It's when people live on top of people, that's when they kill each other. That's mainly
there's a problem. Yeah.
There's a problem. But no, we'll talk about Vernon for a second. According to his mother, this is what his mother said, quote, "He was my miracle baby." Oh yeah. He was born 3 months early, and when he was 3 months old, he got sick, and the doctors told me he was going to die. We took him to a research hospital in Mobile, and they tried some experimental drugs, and they saved his life.
Oh.
Look at that. So, yeah, Vernon's had a tough life, when he was a baby at least. So now
he was sick before he was even supposed to be born.
Absolutely. He wasn't supposed to make it pretty much out of the womb, it sounds like. Yeah. That was 9 months into his whole existence.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So he, before this, March 2004, they haven't seen each other in years. Roger Lee Gillett and Vernon Hewlett. They haven't seen each other in years, but they're first cousins. When you're first cousins, that's kind of it's a close bond. So you do that. Now, Hewlett Vernon had worked in Kansas because he grew up in Kansas too with the rest of the Gillets. He grew up there until the late 1990s when he moved to Hattiesburg because his mother had moved there in 1988. So he had visited there and decided to move down there, because there's at least a fucking tree. It's not Kansas.
Yeah.
So,
and is Russell spelled Russell like a person, or is it Rustle like the cattle?
No. It's a person. I'm sure somebody's last name. It's not the cattle. It's not Rustle Up, Kansas. Rustle 'em up, Kansas, baby. Woo!
Like those horrible jeans.
Home of the Russell Rodeo. Yeah, you get yourself some rustlers. Rustlers were knockoff Wranglers, which is sad.
Yeah. That's what they are.
Because Wranglers are knockoff Levi's.
Walmart pants.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like having knockoff Hydrox. You're like, wait, these are waxy and bad. Why would I want something worse?
These are knockoffs. Why is there a knockoff of a knockoff?
Fuck, man. Where do you go beneath GoBot? Is there anywhere to go? I don't see anywhere to go. It doesn't transform. You just go, here's a car, pretend it's a robot too. There you go. Is that what a fucking knockoff GoBot is?
From Wranglers to Rustlers, what's next? Horse thief jeans? Is
Horse thief jeans. Jesus Christ. Roustabout Jean Corporation. That's what it is.
How much further do we got to go? Why is there a knockoff of a knockoff?
The commercial, ooh, Kathy, I like those. Are those roustabouts? Oh, I'm a roustabout. And then walking away. Oh, man, all the boys are going to love you and those.
You know me. I won't spend more than $2.99 on jeans.
I'll tell you what. For $1.49, you can't beat it. They sell them next to the fishing lures. You're going to like them. Sell them next to live night crawlers, and then there's these jeans next to them. That's what it is.
This is my going out jeans.
To the store, to that store that they got there in town. Oh, Christ almighty. So Anyway, he grows up there, and he moved with his mom, or moved to there where his mom lived in 1988, did Vernon Hewlett, and he came with a girlfriend in tow, 37-year-old, 3 years older than him, Lisa Heinzelman. Or Linda, I'm sorry, not Lisa. Linda Heinzelman. The other Heinzelman. The other one is Lisa Jo Chamberlain.
That's Vernon's girl?
Vernon's girl is Linda Heinzelman.
Okay.
She lives Heinzelman. She lives with him, came from Kansas, relocated to Hattiesburg. They live together.
Okay.
There we go. So now Vernon works for the City of Hattiesburg Sanitation Department.
Okay.
So he's got a city job. That's why he's got a nice little house and got his life together. He moved there. He's doing his thing. I guess while Lisa Jo Chamberlain and Roger Gillett, when they get there, he has no money, no work or anything like that. So he goes down to the job center down there in Hattiesburg, and Roger Gillett obtains day jobs. Just, those day jobs you get at a temp place like that. You go labor one place, then you go labor another place, and every day a different place.
Go dig a trench somewhere else tomorrow.
Yep. So he's doing that. The ladies, Lisa Jo and Linda, they don't work. They stay home.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
Do meth.
They stay home. Well, Lisa does meth. Heinzelman doesn't do meth, and neither does Vernon Hewlett. Neither of them do meth. He's got a day job. He works for the fucking sanitation department.
He's getting drug tested.
Yeah, no, they're not. Neither of these. They're not into that shit. Either of these people. They're citizens. They're normal people. Just like trying to do a solid for a family member. That's all there is to it. Linda, by the way, is known as, everybody describes her as a little slow. Not disabled, not challenged, not whatever the fucking word is. Not like, going to get government assistance for it or anything like that. She's just a little bit, but kind, sweet, nice, just a little bit. Not the smartest person going as far in terms of like IQ goes and shit like that. But she's sweet, nice, and can do everything everybody else does. So that's the way this is all going down. Now we have the whole scene set
and be
yeah. She can do whatever she wants. She enter contract. She's not like a ward of the state or anything. She's just a little bit slow. That's all. Just
She's me.
Whatever. I was gonna say we know people, I'm sure, much slower than her.
Yeah.
I know comics that are much slower than her, probably. So
sure.
By far, yeah, we know some where we're shaking our heads like, how the fuck did that guy find his way here? How do you find the fucking club? Never mind getting on the stage and have jokes prepared. I don't understand.
And you just came out of the bathroom. Everything went fine in there? Really? Are you sure?
Yeah. You sure about that? You wiped and everything. You have to check up on them like you're 6-year-old. You wiped. What age is it how old do your kids have to get before you stop asking them every time they go in the bathroom if they wipe their ass? You know what I'm saying? Because once they learn, up until a certain age, every time they go in, as soon as the door opens, you go, "Did you wipe? Did you wipe or what?" And they go, "Yeah, I wiped." You go, "Okay. You wash your hands? Okay. After you wiped?"
Yeah.
You use toilet paper, not your hand, right?
Yeah. You just drag it on the carpet?
You have to, you do like the dog does, just put your feet up and fucking drag your asshole on the carpet. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, because sometimes my son's 13 and he does fine. He functions as a person, but sometimes when I see him come out of the bathroom, I'm like, you don't look disheveled enough. Did you put some work in there?
What you doing
there?
Sure,
you're clean.
You don't look disheveled enough. You got to fight with that shit, son. You got to wrestle that turd to the ground. When you come out of there, I want it to look like you've just been in a bar fight, boy. I want your hair messed up, some marks on your face.
Breath? What's happening?
Come on, son. Get in there.
Get back in there and try again.
Get back in there and wrestle with that snake, boy. Come on. Oh, man. So, anyway, this is what's going on for a while. And for a few weeks or so, couple of weeks, things seem to go fine. The two couples are living there. There seems to be enough room for everybody to, get along. Problem is, Roger's not really making enough money to support him and Lisa Jo doing these day jobs. So after a while here, after a couple of weeks, Vernon Hewlett starts getting a little bit pissy about feeding them, buying all the food for everybody in the house. Like, you guys are adults. I'm not supporting you. That's, I work hard. I deal in fucking shit every day. I literally deal in people's feces. That's what I'm dealing with to put food on this table.
To be a father to adults.
Yeah, to an adult who is, 3 years younger than me. And meth Barbie next to him. I'm not, no. So not happening. So, things get a little bit, wary between them and things. There's a lot of problems here. There's a disagreement as well. Lisa Joe and Roger are fighting about whether to stay in Hattiesburg, whether to leave. There's pressure in the house. It's uncomfortable, but where the fuck are we going to go? We have no money. We can't go back to Kansas because we're wanted by, I'm sure they want us. We know they were investigating us. Your options are limited when you're on the run and needing a meth fix. They're either limited or unlimited, depending on how you look at them, honestly.
Truly. And it's got to be frustrating for both of them, they're probably going through withdrawals, or if they've gone back into using, there's got to be tons of frustration for them. But for Vernon, fuck, how do you let family move in and then you've got that shit happening?
Yeah, they won't leave.
This is why I don't talk to my family.
Yeah, they won't leave. They're doing meth in your house. You got to feed them. It's a mess. It's not good.
I always want help with something. Fuck, no, I don't know you.
I don't know you. Who is it that? What was it? Was it Chris Rock that was talking about, like, he goes, I try not to talk to my family. Not that people would come to us for this. They'd know better. They'd know that this isn't possible. But he's like, people come up and they ask for $5,000 like it's nothing. He goes, people in my family, like, yeah, you got like $5,000? Like, it's like $2. Like, everybody I know, like, just, hey, $5,000. Like, what the fuck is that shit? I feel like that's how this guy feels. Like, oh, what is it? Fucking chicken dinner? I got this.
Every day
I got.
It's $20.
What are we doing? We had Salisbury steaks last night. There's meat in that. It costs money. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was the frozen ones, but still, costs money.
It's still protein.
Still protein. Banquet's not free. You know how it works. Johnny Swanson's got to make his nut too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So at one point, they are driving together, not in the same car. They're in tandem. Yeah, I don't understand why they're in tandem, but they're in tandem. It is the Mitsubishi Eclipse. And Heinzelman is driving her 1991 Dodge Dakota pickup truck.
Hell yeah.
She's got that. Hewlett in the passenger seat. And Lisa Joe and Roger are in the Eclipse. Mm-hmm. Now, apparently, there was an issue with Linda was ahead of them and changed lanes to try to get in front of them because they were, I don't know, somebody passed or whatever the fuck deal was, but they wanted to get in the same lane again. But she didn't give enough clearance and bashed into the Mitsubishi with the back of her truck.
Wow.
Sending the Mitsubishi off the road into a ditch and basically destroying the fucking car.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, total accident. It was a total accident. She just didn't have enough clearance and bashed her into the thing. So Lisa Joe became furious on this. Furious. They were going down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and then this all happened. So very, very angry. And eventually, Heinzelman promised to report the accident as a claim against her insurance.
You're right.
She said, I'll say, even though the truck wasn't damaged that much, but she said, I'll put in a claim against my insurance, and then we'll divide the insurance proceeds, and you can
divide? No.
You can keep it.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically. So she said, you can keep it for whatever you need it for, and then I'll take the rest. So that's how that was worked out. Problem is, apparently she didn't do it. Heinzelman didn't do it in a timely enough fashion for Lisa Joe, and Lisa Joe got mad. Every day she's like, when are you going to file that paperwork? When are you going to file that paperwork? And like a week goes by, but she's freaking out about this paperwork, which is not great. And then at one point, Lisa Joe is complaining to Roger Gillett about, what's going on. And apparently Gillett told her, quote, they don't like you.
You're making it worse.
This is the reason why they want us out, because they don't like you. Stop breaking balls and stop doing all this shit. She's like, but she hit my car and said she had a point, Lisa Joe, too. Yeah. She destroyed my car. How the fuck can I even leave? My car's fucked up now.
That's the problem with being a pain in the ass. Even when you've got a legitimate gripe, it doesn't get taken seriously when you're an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, for her, though, they don't have a car anymore. That was their car. They don't. Now their car is destroyed. Now they're stuck there. So Heinzelman has you think they have, a lot of motivation to make sure that car gets fixed. And that's the only way they're leaving the fucking house. They're not going to walk away. So, yeah, it becomes an issue. That becomes very, very, very contentious, this whole thing. So, March 19th, 2004. Okay. This is when everything kind of and by the way, this is a approximate date. Could be the 18th, could be the 20th. Based on a methy recollection, this is it could go either way. So
right around about the 19th.
Right around about the 19th. Right around or about around the side of the 19th. Right around about 19th. One day, they've all been drinking. Okay, it's the 19th. Both couples sitting around drinking. Just a recipe for a terrific night between four adults who can't stand each other. Perfect. So. They're all drinking.
Four adults that happen to be two couples with men that have interest in defending their wives and wives that have interest in defending their men.
And wives that don't like each other. Right. That's the main beef is Lisa Joe and Linda. Those are the two that butt heads the most. Vernon and Roger can get along. They're fine. They're cousins, but they don't get along now because they're fighting about the ladies. So, obviously. And everybody's either drunk or on meth. So that's another problem. Reasonable minds aren't going to come to the forefront here. Yeah. Cooler heads will not prevail. So Vernon and Linda, Hewlett and Heinzelman, suggest after a day of drinking, I love how this is put, by the way, in the court document, quote, suggest that Gillett and Chamberlain move out.
So what they said was, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah. Do you think it was, hey, guys, I got a great idea. No, seriously, check this out. What if you guys, got the fuck out of our house? What do you think of that, huh? Wouldn't that be great? You just pack up all your shit and leave?
Like
I'll put you on a Greyhound.
Wake up in the morning, you're not here. Like you're one of those kind of things.
We'll take you right to the bus station and you take it to, I don't care, anywhere. Doesn't matter, but you won't be here.
Even better, we don't have to do another motherfucking thing to get you out of our lives.
Wouldn't that be great? Or I think it was probably, why don't you two quit your bitching and get the fuck out of our goddamn house then if you don't like it. I think it was one of those probably.
Yeah.
That's probably one of those, like, when are you going to file that insurance thing? Well, when are you going to get the fuck out of my house? There's a lot of things that could come to that. Really. Yeah. What time's dinner? What time you getting the fuck out of my house? There's really, you could go to any opening. You could put that in there if you want someone out of your house. You really can. Yeah. It's a beautiful night tonight. It's a beautiful night to get the fuck out of my house. Tell you what, buddy. That's right, it is. It's gorgeous out here. Gorgeous night for a long walk back to Kansas is where I'll tell you what it's a nice night for. Get yourself a head start. You'll make it by, month and a half.
Mm-hmm. You don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. I just know it's a nice night for moving.
It's a nice night for moving along now.
Y'all ever moseyed? Have you ever done that?
Y'all ever moseyed along? Ever done that at all? You could mosey. You could head yonder is another way to put it. You can ski daddle. I like that one. That sounds fun.
All them kids say dip out, something like that.
Something like that. You can get them on them. Do that now. Try it all. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So after this whole thing, this tension between everybody causes Lisa Joe and Roger to go inside and also argue. Okay, so it's a 4-person argument that then splinters off and breaks into another 2-person argument based on the 4-person argument. So
remember when we told them to get out of our house? Now we pissed them off. They just went back in our house.
In our house to fucking argue now. But the point is, Lisa Joe wants to leave. She's been wanting to leave. But their car's fucked up is her only issue. So she's like, yes, let's get the fuck out of here. We're not going to stick around and argue with these people. I don't want to even be in this fucking house. So that's how that goes. So anyway, Chamberlain ends up saying, fine, I'll fucking leave. Goodbye.
Vernon left.
No, Lisa Joe, Chamberlain.
Oh, Lisa Joe. Got it.
Lisa Joe says, I've had it. I'm fucking leaving. Goodbye. I'm taking off. So she grabs some of her meager belongings here and intends to hitchhike to Oregon.
Oh, my God.
Which is a fucking long way to hitchhike. This is not 1974. You can't.
Nope.
It's very difficult to hitchhike 2,000 miles and change in 2004. It really is. Like, it's just not a thing that people do anymore.
With their pants down, carrying a lamp and a paddle ball.
That's it. Just all I need is this lamp and this thermos and this remote control. So she ends up getting a ride from a trucker.
Yeah.
So a trucker will pick you up, I guess, still,
yeah.
In 2004. She got a ride from a trucker to a truck stop about 2 hours away. Okay. So she's on her way. She's 2 hours away. All problem is, at the truck stop, she can't find another ride.
Oh, no.
An entire truck stop worth of trucks. They take a look at her and go, I don't think so.
No, thanks.
I don't think so, Methy. I don't think so, Metharella. We're not going to do that.
Metharella with a lamp?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care what you're doing here. That's not help. Nope, please don't show me that. Nope. That's not. You're not sweetening the deal, Lenny.
Yeah.
I see track marks. So she is unable to get a ride, so she shrugs her shoulders, turns back, and begins walking the 2 hours back to Hattiesburg.
2 hour ride, 12-hour walk.
God knows how long of a walk. Going 65 miles an hour takes 2 hours. So
now it's a 2-day walk.
She eventually gets a ride somewhere along this path. Someone gives her a ride, and she ends up back at the house somehow. Okay. It's been a long day for her, to say the least. So she returns to find Roger Gillett standing on the front porch smoking a cigarette. Mm-hmm. And he's angry, by the way, because they walk inside and everybody's been fighting in here, okay? Everybody's been arguing. It's a fucking disaster, an absolute disaster. In addition, apparently when Lisa Joe gets there, she walks in, heads right for the refrigerator, and grabs a cold beer out of there. Okay? Vernon, who was in the kitchen, took it from her and said no, and took the beer away. You're not drinking more of my beer. Because everybody's fighting. No. Now, she just walked, she's been in the Mississippi heat for God knows how long. And
poor lady's day has been ruined.
She wants beer. So now everybody's in a fucking argument. At this point now, Vernon Hewlett begins accusing Roger Gillett of hitting Lisa Jo Chamberlain under Vernon's roof. You're beating your girlfriend in my house, and I don't like it. Okay? Now, Chamberlain is busting in going, he hasn't hit me at all. And apparently there wasn't any abuse between them at that time, in the house. Not obviously tried to drown her at another point, but in the house, there's been no drowning attempts or any abuse. They've been kind of more fighting as a couple with the other couple rather than with each other. They need some sort of equal fucking enemy they can attack together, or they have to be fighting something, whether it's each other or some shit. So Chamberlain busts in and says, you're a liar. He ain't hitting me at all. And now they're all in a fucking argument now. Now Heinzelman saying, why you calling my man a liar? I know it's true. And how you fucking bitch? And they're going back and forth. And the guys are arguing. You can't be hitting your woman in my house. It's a fucking disaster. Absolute disaster. So at this point here, Gillett starts yelling at Linda Heinzelman, accusing her about that because she said, I put in the insurance claim. I reported the accident and put it in. And he's saying, no, you didn't. You're a liar. You didn't do it at all. Okay. So now Chamberlain wanted to get their things and put everything into the car and leave, even though their car doesn't work. Just put all our stuff in the car. We'll store it there and we'll take off and go find some place to stay.
I don't give a shit.
And we'll figure it out. But Gillett said, no, we're going to stay the night. I ain't leaving now. It's late. I'm not going to inconvenience me, goddammit, because they're assholes. We're going to stay the night and leave comfortable in the morning, respectable like.
Yeah.
Like people, like upstanding people.
Yeah.
Like adult people who don't have raging meth addictions. So Lisa Jo at that point went into the kitchen and grabbed 2 beers from the refrigerator. Now I'm going to take one for me, one for Roger. Hewlett again grabs her and told her that she couldn't have them. You're not taking them beers, I told you, God damn it.
Yeah, those are my beers.
Takes them away. At that point, Gillett comes into the room and, doesn't go after Vernon Hewlett, who's the one grabbing the beers away. Instead, picks up Linda Heinzelman and slams her onto the kitchen counter.
What?
Yeah, Roger Gillett picks up Vernon's girlfriend and slams her onto the fucking counter. Yeah, exactly. Slams her onto the counter, okay? So at this point, Gillett tells Lisa Jo, go get my gun from under the mattress in the bedroom. To which she says, sure, and goes in there to do it. So
I've been waiting all day for this.
Oh, my God. Jesus, go get my gun. Okay. Not, hey, what are we doing here? This is crazy. She goes, sure. So she gets it. Gillett takes the gun and first fires a shot into the floor just to tell everyone that this fucking gun's loaded. Shit's serious. Pow! Fires a shot into the floor to get everyone under control under the commotion of everything. He then gets the keys to Heinzelman's pickup truck. Give me your keys, Linda. So Chamberlain, without instruction, by the way, Lisa Jo does this. No one told her to do this. She did this on her own. Went outside of her own volition to cut the telephone wire to the house.
Oh, what?
When she gets there, that's what I mean. She's like, oh, good, we're doing this shit. I'm cutting the wire. Think about if that's your first. Oh, it's on. Cut them telephone wires and let's rock and roll, motherfuckers. Like, what the hell are you doing?
What has she done?
Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, her experience is cut the wires to the telephone so no one can call the police. That's crazy. Who the fuck thinks like that?
Out. Right.
This isn't. Serial killers think like that. This is insane in the 70s. Wow. Yeah, this is some shit. But the fucked up part is when she gets out there to cut them, she sees, and this is when you know it's true love, Jimmy. This is when you know it's love. Roger already cut them.
How thoughtful.
It's like the gift of the Magi. Isn't that nice? It's fucking beautiful.
They're already done. Thank you. I went to do the dishes, found the sink empty.
Wouldn't you know, I opened the oven, just dinner in there cooking away. I went to start it, and it was already almost done. I look over, table set. Unbelievable. What a night.
Nothing. Turkey's almost done.
Fucking, it's been basted and everything. It's beautiful. Crispy skin. So that's true love when you go to cut the telephone wires and see that your baby already cut them. Isn't that nice?
You sweetheart.
Your sweetheart already cut him. That's love after lockup shit right there. That's that's intense. So anyway, the wires are cut. So then Chamberlain takes the gun. Lisa Joe takes the gun, walks outside with it, because now they can kind of have the run of the place because the telephone wires are cut. I don't know why no one has a cell phone yet in 2004, but that's another story.
Yeah.
So Chamberlain takes the gun outside and fires a shot at the truck, at the truck tires, trying to shoot out the truck tires. But Gillett comes outside and grabs her arm and says, "Don't shoot the truck tires out. That's our getaway car. The fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
How do you expect to get away from this exactly without a car? That's the car that works. Don't be a moron. So she said, "Oh, shit, my bad." And
How about, Lisa, you don't do anything more. Just follow me. Remember when you went to cut the wires? I already did that. If I wanted those truck tires shot, I'd have done it.
I'm good at this.
Follow.
I'm pretty good at this. I've done a lot of crime. You're still learning. No, your efforts are admirable. But he's mansplaining crime to her. That would be amazing. No. I think it's adorable that you want to be a criminal and a murderer and everything. That's so cute. But no, you got to follow my lead, sweetheart. He pats her on the ass and walks inside.
I'll teach you how to shoot later. I'm glad you missed the tire.
Now go ahead and put some Miracle Whip on some bread for me, and I'll be in a minute. So that's what goes on here. So they take the gun back into the house with one bullet left in it. Yeah. So apparently he only had 3 bullets to begin with.
That's all he's got.
That's all he's got. So there's 1 bullet remaining now in the gun. Remember that. Okay, so they get in the house. Gillett now goes over to Vernon Hewlett and says, "Give me the combination to your safe." They have a big safe in their bedroom. He says, "Give me the combination to your safe." And Hewlett says, "Nuh-uh, ain't going to do it."
No,
I don't want to. What do you think of that?
I'm going to give you the same answer I gave your wife about beer. No.
Get the fuck out. How's that? So there is a combination to getting the fuck out of my house. I could give that to you. It's open the door, walk through it, and keep out roads that way. That's the combination.
Walk it on the other side.
Kiss my ass is the last part of it. You got to do that to really make it pop open. So he would not. He said no. So Gillett then punches him several times, starts pummeling Vernon Hewlett at this point, saying, give me the goddamn combination. He's saying, no, I'm not doing it. He still won't give it to him. Son of a bitch. So he says to Lisa Joe Chamberlain, Roger says, hey, go into the bedroom with fucking Linda over here. Mm-hmm. You and Linda down in the bedroom, get the safe, roll it out here. Okay, let's go. Roll the fucking safe out here. So, do all of that. Now, Heinzelman can't remember the combination to the safe.
Really?
She doesn't have a very good memory, everybody says, too. She's not real good with that sort of thing. So she said she doesn't remember the combination for the safe. She said only Vernon's mother knows the combination to the safe. It's not our safe, even. It's Vernon's mother's, and Vernon's mother knows the combination. She just keeps her safe here. Okay. We don't know. So, now, Hewlett apparently at some point gives them a combination, but it doesn't work.
Of course.
He gives them I don't know if he thought they were going to be like, all right, cool, and take the safe and leave, and we'll open it later or some shit. I don't know what he thought they were going to do. Y'all have a good evening. And I'll leave a 6-pack on your door later to replace the beer we drank because I feel bad about that. Y'all going to want a cold beer later on.
He's going to get to the safe house and not be able to open the safe.
Yeah, that's not going to work. So it's at this point, out of nowhere, that they can't get the safe open, but out of nowhere, Lisa Joe Chamberlain goes into a fucking absolute shit-crazy rage about the car being damaged. She's back on that. She's like, you fucked up my car, you fucking bitch. She's going around the house, trashing the house. She knocked the dresser over in the bedroom and knocked the refrigerator down. Jesus. She pulled the refrigerator over, Jimmie.
That's a strong woman.
That's a strong woman in a meth fucking rage. Think about either needs meth or has too much meth. One of the two.
Yeah.
But either way, think about
it's
how
not
fucking
easy to do.
No, how aggressive you have to be to yank a refrigerator over. Holy shit, that's something, man. So
and you don't want to half pull it over and have it rock back. So you really got to give it That does not punctuate your rage.
Fucking yeah, that's not going to do it.
It's got to come over.
It's got to come over. You're having a shoot, boom. God damn it. Hold on a minute. Put your foot on. Yeah, put it there, and then pull it back so it doesn't fall. There you go. Boom.
Yeah,
thank you for that help.
Make sure you pull it.
Yeah, make sure, please. Really give it a. Can you push from that side, and I'll go low over here. So she turned over the refrigerator and knocked the dresser down. So this is just. You're a bitch. Nothing you can do about it because the car is broken now, but I'm going to destroy your house because of that. So at one point, she says to everybody in the living room, Lisa Joe says, fuck this. I'm just going to burn the house down and we'll leave. Oh. And then she walks into the bedroom and lights the gas heater in the bedroom. And she's going to do something to burn the house down based on that. She's going to put like a curtain on it or whatever. So, but Gillett ran in the room after her and turned it off and said, "Ho, not yet. We're not.
Take it easy.
Calm down, honey. We're in the house right now. Let's wait till we're walking out before we start setting this place ablaze.
So we're ready to go."
Jesus Christ. So Gillett continues to beat Vernon Hewlett periodically, beat him up. Punching him, beating him, talking shit to him, all this shit. At some point, this is the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life. At some point, Hewlett says, well, I worked today. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And he just goes to bed.
How passive is this guy?
I mean, I don't know if he's like a little stunad from getting beat up in the head or something. Like if he's like, got a concussion and he doesn't know what he's doing or what the fucking story is. But he literally says, I had a long day and worked hard, so I'm going to bed now, and goes to bed. He's been being punched for the last 2 hours. His
get up early.
House is trashed. The refrigerator's on its side.
You're right.
And he's like, well, have a good one, everybody. I'm going to sleep.
He's a company man right there.
Wow. How drunk and or concussed do you have to be for that to happen? One of the two.
Unbelievable.
Wow. That's the weirdest shit I ever heard. So he says that. Now, at this point, they realize that they never got any more beer. There's any more beer in the house. Everybody's been drinking all the beer. So around 1:30 a.m., Lisa Joe Chamberlain took Linda Heinzelman's truck to buy beer.
The truck with the bullet hole in it?
No, it doesn't. She missed.
Okay.
She missed the truck. So
she missed the whole truck?
Missed. Well, she was shooting at a tire and hit the ground.
Missed the whole truck.
Missed the whole truck. Yeah. Well, she hit the ground. She was short. What do you want? So she's trying to get there before the 2 a.m. booze sales cut off, right? So apparently the store had already closed or whatever the fucking case was. She ends up not getting any alcohol when she's out.
Oh, my God.
So she comes back about an hour later. She ends up coming back. So about 2:30 she ends up. Now, beerless. And she walks in on quite the fucking scene here, boy. And there's several points in here where you go, okay, she's going to do this now, and then she does the complete opposite. It's fucking crazy. So she walks into a scene of Vernon still in bed, where, Vernon, he was tired, awfully tired. Heinzelman is not in bed, though. She is bent over the safe with no pants on.
So, no pants.
No pants, bent over the safe. Okay.
Yikes.
Now, Chamberlain, Lisa Joe, inquires to Roger, did you fucking rape her? Did you, have you been doing this? And Roger...
Terrible question.
It's not a question you're normally asked, I would think, especially in this situation. But he says, by the way, when she's asking, she's not asking because she would find that morally reprehensible. Yeah. She's asking because that would be cheating in her mind. I'm not shitting you.
You cheating some bitch.
Yeah. Did you fucking do that? She was like, and then he was like, no, I didn't do this. Listen to what he says.
She's mooning us.
She's mooning. Yeah, no, he says that I made her undress in order to break her, to try to get her to give me the combination. Yeah. And so then I just raped her with a beer bottle. And Chamberlain said, oh, okay, good. Yeah, exactly. She said, no, all right, I thought you were cheating. So, that's what her concern is that.
Holy shit.
Oh, good. That's all you're doing. Great. Perfect. Yeah. Did she talk? That's her main concern is well, did it work? And he said, no, she won't tell me shit. So Chamberlain, Lisa Joe, shrugs her shoulders and goes, oh, I don't know, I'm hungry. So she goes into the kitchen and eats herself a piece of chicken.
After coming home to that, the decisions that these people make are insane.
It's a crazy mad lib of what's the last thing you would do? Okay, perfect. That's what they're going to do. What's the worst thing you could do here? I don't know, go eat a piece of chicken? Well, that's what she's doing.
She fuck her, you cheating bastard? No, I raped her with a beer bottle. Oh, great choice.
To break her will so she'll give me the combination to her safe. Oh, good thinking. That's what he said.
Herbs and spices chicken in there still?
So, yeah, she gets a chicken leg and eats it and goes back in there, and Heinzelman is still, fucking over this safe, and she's just eating the chicken leg like nothing's the matter. When she's done with the chicken leg, she forces Linda to insert the chicken bone into her own anus.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's all Lisa Joe, by the way. Lisa Joe goes and gets the chicken, eats the chicken, and says, do this now, and fucking makes her do it.
Wow.
Yeah, for fear of her life, essentially. I think she'd give up the combination if she knew it by now, everybody.
I think so, yeah.
I think she'd probably give it up. I don't think she'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go through all this for a fucking combination to a safe.
Holy hell.
So, yeah, this is horrible. We've never had, in our whole small-town murder, we've never had a woman have an idea like that.
No.
Ever. It's just bonkers. Especially when there's a couple together, it's the guy who's coming up with the sadistic ideas, and the woman's like, all right, fine, I'll go along with it. But she's like, I'll up the ante. Beer bottle, fuck that. Here's a chicken bone. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. So it's at this point that Hewlett finally joins the party again, Vernon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what drew him to the occasion, but he's up out of bed. I guess he can't sleep.
The smell of fresh chicken.
Holy shit. So he comes out and tells, rather than say, what the fuck's going on with what are you doing with my girlfriend? Let her up, get that chicken bone out of her. He says, don't tell him the combination, Linda.
What?
What the fuck is that about? So
what's he doing?
Yeah, he tells her not to, but instead they all sit in the dark and they make them, everybody sit in the dark so the neighbors aren't like aware of what's going on. This is meth paranoia, by the way. Yeah. And then they make, not that she has any expertise in this at all, they tell Linda Heinzelman to pick that lock. You better open that safe, pick the lock. She doesn't know how to pick a safe lock. Who the fuck does? Unless you have tools and shit, who's going to pick a safe lock? She's got like her, a fork and a hairpin trying to pick a safe lock.
What are they counting on is in that safe? $2 billion? Because you're going to be on the run now.
Enough money to get to Mexico. That's what they want.
Okay.
They want to get to Mexico.
$1,000.
So, yeah, that's all it takes. And they'll get down there and then live fat forever. You know how it is in Mexico.
Free flying.
We'll go down there, not even speaking the language. We'll be millionaires in no time. It's going to be perfect. So, on the run. So
Land of opportunity.
Yeah. So finally, Lisa Joe turns to Roger. She's bored now. This is it's all boring. Remember, she wanted to leave to begin with. She says, let's just kill them and get this the fuck over with and get the fuck out of here, is her exact words.
Yeah.
Get this the fuck over with and kill them and get the fuck out of here. She's tired of this
one
shit.
Bullet.
So, well, Gillett says, all right, fine. Tell you what, go on and get my box cutter. There's a box cutter inside. Vernon Hewlett's got a tool room that has some of his tools. He goes, go get a box cutter there. And, there you go. But instead, so she went and get the box cutter and brings it back to him. Hewlett instead sits down in his chair. Very casual, this Hewlett. Well, I guess they're going to kill me now. I'll sit down in my favorite chair. Instead of cutting him, Gillett grabs a hammer and begins fucking walloping him in the head with a hammer. Real hard. At one point, it bent the metal handle of the hammer.
Holy shit.
You know how fucking hard you have to hammer something to bend? They're not supposed to bend. It's a hammer. Right. It's supposed to be the thing that's stronger than the thing you're going against. Right. That's the point.
He's been using that hammer for how long, and it hasn't bent.
Yeah, this is a lot. So at that point, they're beating him with the hammer. They beat him with the hammer, caving his skull in. He's still sitting on the chair. Now they turn to Linda Heinzelman and go, you can open the fucking safe now? And she said, no, I don't know the combination. I don't know how to open the safe. So Roger tells Lisa Chamberlain, will you strangle her and get it over with? Kill her, please. So Lisa goes, sure, no problem. And Lisa goes to strangle Linda. Grabs her around the throat, but Linda's too strong for her. Yeah. Linda's struggling. Her throat isn't like, it's not a weak little throat. It's hard to, and it's hard to strangle somebody.
Yeah.
Being bigger than someone to strangle them really helps a lot, I would imagine.
Lisa
you don't want to strangle someone your own size.
She may have expended all of her energy throwing all the shit around the place.
That's the other. Maybe her meth is wearing off. I don't know what it is. So, but yeah, she's too strong, so she can't do it. She's like, God damn it. So she goes, this'll work. She goes into the kitchen and gets a knife. Does Lisa Joe. She goes in, gets a kitchen knife, and, gives it to Gillett. And it was like, will you stab her? I can't strangle her. It's not working. Will you stab her and get it over with? So Gillett tells Lisa Joe, all right, I'll do it, but go wait out in the truck while I do it. I don't know what he's embarrassed about this part. He wasn't embarrassed about I raped her with a beer bottle. That was fine, but I don't want you to see me have to do this. You saw me cave in my cousin's brain with a hammer, but this over here it's a bridge too far. I know how you don't like blood. So anyway, this is fucking crazy. He tells her to go wait out in the truck. While she does, she goes and waits out in the truck. He beats her. He stabs her. He hits her in the head with shit. She doesn't die. Linda Heinzelman is tough, and she will not die. She's stays alive, as we'll talk about, for quite some time. Oh, boy. Quite some time. Now, when Lisa Joe comes back into the house, she sees that Vernon Hewlett's still in his chair, bloody, and she sees Heinzelman on the floor and bloody. But both of them are still breathing. Vernon and Linda, they're both still breathing. So Chamberlain then again tries to open the safe, but can't get it open because you don't know the combination, crackhead. And only a crackhead would keep going over and trying to, well, maybe this will work. Well, maybe I could pry it open with this thing, and it never works. So she's all pissed off. She turns to Gillett and says, they're breathing. Are you going to fucking kill him or not? Like, what the fuck, slow motherfucker? Kill him.
Are you a man?
Kind of, yeah. So he says, yeah, I'm fucking killing him. I'm getting around. This is the weirdest nagging I've ever heard in my life. Like, this is the strangest marital nagging ever. Did you kill your cousin and his wife? I said I'd kill him. Well, kill him already. Get around to it because they're going to be laying around, getting all bloody. All right already. Jesus Christ. I understand. I know the garbage has to go out to the curb. I'll kill him and get him in there. It's too much.
So glad to be divorced. This brings back a lot of memories.
A lot of I know you and your wife when you were your ex-wife when you were murdering people together. It was usually, on your crime sprees. I know it was very similar to this.
The exact same nag.
Same shit, man. So he said, yes, I will. Now, Chamberlain here, Lisa Joe starts loading their belongings into the pickup truck. Well, I'll start packing up the truck here. At that point, Roger Gillett slashes Vernon's throat, slashes Hewlett's throat. And he tells Lisa Joe, it's done, all finished. Yeah. Slashed them all up, ready to go here. So they hop in the pickup truck and drive away with Lisa driving, the 91 Dakota, all right? As they're driving, Roger Gillett throws the hammer out at one point, throws the knife out at one point on the highway, just random spots away. And they drive for about an hour or two. And at this point, it's around, the sun's starting to come up. It's daybreak. And he said, you know what? In the light of the morning sun, I see things in a more clear fashion. You know how that is? The glow, the morning glow, it's a beautiful, clear thing, and you can just see right through it. And we got to turn around. We got to turn this, turn it around. We need to finish what we started here. What we started. I'm not sure. We got to clean it all up. We just left a lot of loose ends. Let's get on back there. So they turn it around and head back to the house.
Oh, God.
Okay. When they returned, Hewlett is in the chair. Appears to be dead. Appears, I do say. We'll get back to that in a second. He's had his throat cut and his skull bashed in, but hanging in there. Linda Heinzelman is on the floor, still breathing strongly.
Really?
Yeah. So they walk in the door, and Gillett goes, glad we came back. Jesus, look, they're alive. Holy shit. So Lisa at this point got super fucking mad at Linda. Really mad at her. Goes over
Linda?
At Linda for being alive. Yeah, real mad at her. And bends over and gets in her face and says, "Why aren't you gone yet?" In her face. Just screams in her face. "Why aren't you gone yet?" She's real angry about this. So Gillett's like, "It's not my fault. Look," and shows them, "Look, I slashed his throat and everything. He didn't die. What the fuck? You slash a guy's throat, you expect him to croak. What the hell here? You ever seen a movie? Yeah. It works. Every time." So they went, "Well, shit, this is a lot going on. Well, it's been a long day, though. Tell you what, they just got some blankets, covered them both up, and then went down in the bedroom and went to sleep." They just decided, we better, it'll look, in the light of the morning, everything's going to look different. We're going to sleep on it and see how we feel in the morning. They just covered them up.
Bed. Yeah.
Went to bed and went right to sleep.
Okay.
No problem.
"Why aren't you going? I'll tuck you in."
I'll tuck you in. So Chamberlain said she couldn't stay in the house, and instead she went to sleep in her car around 6:30 or 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. She went to sleep in the car. After about 3 hours, she went back into the house, and she found Roger Gillett sitting on the sofa in the living room, his cousin with his skull bashed in and his throat cut in the chair. He's just lounging like this is furniture now.
"Morning, honey."
"Morning." And I made coffee. It's going. There's still a cup left. Left you some.
100 Club's on. Sit on down.
Yeah, come on. Pat Robertson gonna say some good shit now. Tell us about the Lord, Pat. Woohoo! I got good news. Sing it, Pat Boone. So they and Linda is still on the floor breathing, though. She's still breathing.
Jesus,
it's this whole night. So Chamberlain and Gillett decide to go out into the front yard and just hang out.
Okay.
They spend the day on lawn chairs in the front yard, just having some beers, relaxing, waving at neighbors and shit. Hi, y'all. Just fucking, yeah. Oh, no, we going to see the football game later. That's right. Just totally casual, hanging out in the front yard. They spend.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Well, it's southern Mississippi. They're saying Roll Tide. I doubt they are.
Is this Auburn country? Is that what this is?
That's Alabama, too.
No,
this is
okay.
Ole Miss, Southern Miss.
Okay.
There's a bunch of those. A lot of misses around this area.
But there's some Roll Tide around here.
I'm sure there is, just to be different or difficult or because they're better, I don't know. I think
for the championships and shit.
Yeah, you know how that goes. So they hang out in the yard for the rest of the day. Uh-huh. They go back in. And Linda's still alive, by the way, when they go back in at the end of the day.
Right.
She's just been suffering for over 12 hours now, sitting there and laying on the ground. And so Lisa Joe says, maybe we should smother or strangle her or something, right? Yeah. I mean, got to do it somehow. That's the least messy, I guess, right? So Gillett says, well, how do you think we should do it? And Chamberlain says, well, why don't we put a plastic bag over her head? They always say not to, let kids put them over. When I had my kids for 3 weeks or so back before they took them all away, I remember they told me never let them put a plastic bag on their head, and I think that's why. So let's do it.
When I took them home from the hospital, they had a couple of things. They said no plastic bags, no shaking. We shook the shit out of her. Let's put the plastic bag on her.
So, I did that. We cut her. We hit her. I did all of it. So she gathered plastic bags from all around the house, and they tried to do it, but she started to struggle.
Yeah.
Somehow, in her state, she was still able to put on an unconscious struggle, basically, and she's strong. So they went, fuck, what do we do now? Well, let's bound her hands behind her back with duct tape. Oh, my God. This poor woman. Holy shit. So Gillett then asked Chamberlain, what would you rather do? You want to hold her head or put the bag over it? Which one? It's a two-man operation, this bagging thing. You can't just tag and bag all by yourself, you know what I mean? It's fucking insane. So Chamberlain says, I'll put the bag over her head. You hold her. It's easier for me to just do the bag. He told her, I can't do it by myself. And then at this point, though, she said that she couldn't help him for some reason. So he said, well, fine, then I'll figure it out. And he got her in a headlock, and he put the bag over her head, the first bag, and then Lisa Joe helped him with the next 2 bags over her head.
3 bags?
Triple bagged her, yeah.
Jesus.
She began making noises, Linda. She begins screaming and howling, and, her mouth's not taped or anything like that. So they're afraid that a neighbor's going to hear them.
Right.
They're like, oh, they weren't afraid of fucking shooting guns off in the middle of the night last night. No neighbor's going to hear that. Middle of the day, though, they're going to hear some screaming and call the cops. So they freak out, and they're like, well, shit, what do we do? So Gillett grabs a pillow and puts it over her head also to smother her. So that way she'll quiet her down, too. So Chamberlain says, well, I'm going to go outside, smoke me a cigarette, goes outside for a few minutes, comes back inside, and she said she watched Linda Heinzelman take her last breath. Okay, so poor Linda Heinzelman finally is dead after all of that.
All of that torture.
All of that fucking torture, man. So after all that, they decide, well, I mean, what do you think they should do now?
Fucking run.
Well, yeah, obviously. They decide, let's stick around another day and hang out because we're having a barbecue with Vernon's mother and his nephews. We're supposed to see them, so let's just hang out with them. We'll hang out, and then we'll take off after that.
Plus,
what we'll do
is the combination.
She might know the combination. What we'll do is we'll cut the bodies up and burn the house down before we leave, obviously. But, we'll hang out another day. Like I said, the opposite of what a normal, sane person would do, they do. Exact opposite. What should they do? Run? They go, no, let's hole up for a while.
Yeah.
Get the stuff back out of the truck, honey. Come on. We're moving into their bedroom. So by that time, it was mid-afternoon, by the way. This took all morning. And Hewlett's nephew, Michael Hester, who was 17, and Michael's 13-year-old brother, both Vernon's nephews, Mitchell, they stop by after school like they do from time to time. Stop by to see Uncle Vern. Yeah.
That that was unexpected.
Yeah, I would say. They lived with Carolyn Hester, who was these two boys' grandmother and Vernon Hewlett's mother.
Mom. Yep.
And I believe the sister of Roger's mother or something along those lines. So Gillett and Lisa Joe told them, oh, yeah, Vern and Linda, boy, they left town. Yeah, they took off for a couple days. They told us to just, kind of hang and watch the homestead, make sure nothing happens to it. They went out. They're down Gulf Coast. I know they went to gamble. They're going to go out on one of them boats and gamble. And had it sounded romantic. I was kind of jealous, to be honest with you. I mean, it sounded nice. Hope it helps them rekindle their love for each other, really. You know how it is. Over time.
It's rough.
The flame burns low. Sometimes just need some more oxygen, and I think that sort of trip is just the right thing for them. I'm glad we could help them out.
They've been yelling for us to get out of here, but they realized it was them that needed the trip.
And they really needed the trip. So anyway, they go, oh, okay, that sounds fine. They believe them there. They hang out. They go with the two young boys. They take them to the zoo. Oh, yeah. Lisa Joe
trip?
And Roger. Yeah, they take the boys to the zoo, hang out. They play basketball with them. They go to Carolyn's house to eat. Aunt Carolyn going to go over her house to eat.
Okay.
Where after I just murder her son. That's nice. That's fucking well. They eat supper with her, and the next day is when they take the kids to the zoo, the Camper Park Zoo. And then they eat supper again at her house again that night. Okay. So when they get back from dinner the second night, they've had a long weekend. Whew, this is fun. Like I picture them with like little pennants and like stuffed animals, like it came back from an amusement park.
Yeah.
Like,
oh boy,
got
a lion, somebody got a tiger. Yeah.
What a fun weekend. This is great. So they decide we should clean up the house, right? I think, right? So they strip the carpet off the living room floor, and they take the bodies into the bathroom. Okay. Then they said that they took some sleeping pills and that she and Gillett went to bed and slept through the night. Just had a good night. You need a good night of shut-eye. The bodies are in the bathroom. Ain't no big deal. The next day was a Monday. One of the boys skipped school and stopped by the house.
This son of a bitch. He's going to get us caught.
So they... They said that and stopped by the house. They said, hold on, we just woke up. Why don't you go over to Carolyn's house and we'll meet you there, okay? And he was like, all right, sure. On the way there, Gillett, they're just walking over to meet the kid. Gillett tells Lisa Joe, let's put the bodies in that deep freezer he has, and we'll take them to Kansas with us. No one will look there for them. So they went over to Hewlett's mother's house, hung out for a while with the kid, and then went back home to prepare the bodies for the freezer, the way they put it. Okay. Now, she assists Linda Joe. They both do the whole thing. They clean up the murder scene. She helps move the bodies to the bathroom, where Gillett, oh my goodness, takes a pruning saw.
Yikes.
Anybody know what a pruning saw is? A pruning saw, picture like
pointed blade.
Yeah, picture like a regular, like a saw that you'd picture like a lumberjack sawing a with big teeth on it and shit like that. Shrink that shit down, make it a handle, make it long and thin so you can grab onto a branch and just saw a branch off a tree quick, a smaller branch, one-handed. It's a vicious, skinny blade with big teeth on it. Vicious fucking thing to attack a human with. So he takes this and cuts off Vernon's head first.
Oh, boy.
Removes his head, then removes his arms as well. And, Lisa Joe held the garbage bags open while he placed the arms inside the bags. That's nice of her. She's assisting. The original plan was to cut the head and arms off both the bodies, but I don't know if it was just a hard thing to do, or meth people can't be counted on to finish a job, or what it is. But after Vernon, they're like, we'll just leave Linda's head on. What's the
work?
It's a lot. We're keeping them in the same place anyway. It's not like we're putting the head in one state and the body in another. It's all together. Might as well keep them together. Fuck it.
There's more room in this icebox than I thought. We don't got to take them apart.
Never mind, sweetheart. Just fold them up and we should be fine. So, they do that. They then turn the deep freezer onto its side so they can roll them in there. So they load the bodies in there, which is... oh, my God. Interesting, we'll say. Wait till you hear a quote, by the way, later on. It's fucking disturbing. So they load up the body and then Hewlett's body as well with a black trash bag. They load them into the freezer. She taped the freezer shut with electrical tape and duct tape while he stood on top of it to keep it closed. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us, be fashionable, get in there with Quince, indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So then they went through the house and gathered up 6 or 7 garbage bags full of evidence, the way she put it.
6 or 7.
6 or 7. They then loaded the freezer and garbage bags into the truck and left for Kansas the next morning with a plan to return at some point in the future and burn the house down. Not right now. That'll draw attention. We'll be back. We'll burn it down. Some point. So they took the truck, transported the freezer all the way back to Kansas. They get to Kansas. It's it's his father's farm. His father owns a farm that has an abandoned farmhouse on it with a barn and all this shit, this is already very disturbing. Yeah. They take the freezer out to this place and plug it in on the farm. So it's cold. To freeze things, right? Uh-huh. So then they took the items and transported them and disposed of the evidence, all those garbage bags, at the Russell dump as well. Okay. So they threw that stuff out. Then they said that she said, well, I guess he wanted her, will you cook some meth up because we need to make some money? So she said, sure, why not? So, they went, how they discarded trash for making meth they discarded at the public swimming pool, the meth makings, the shit. And then the next day.
In the pool or in the trash?
I hope in the trash, not in the pool. The next day, Chamberlain and Gillett, they left the freezer at the farm in the country. They tried to drive the pickup truck as little as possible because they thought maybe it had been reported stolen and, all that shit. They stayed with some of his relatives. One of the relatives they stayed with was Debbie Millam. She said that the truck they used to haul the bodies was stolen, and she knew that. And she said that after she helped them hide the truck at her father's farm, they hid it in a barn, she also aided them in making a batch of crystal meth.
Oh, jeez.
This is Aunt Debbie. She said, quote, they both shot up. Then he pulled a gun out and told me if I told anyone what happened out there, he would kill me and my family. Thanks, Aunt Debbie. Yeah. You mean you? You mean your cousin, Vernon? So they, another couple of friends of his from the area, Ronnie Burns and Lorraine Crumless, spelled like he has no crumbs, too. It's hilarious. These are former friends of Gillett. They said, one of them said, quote, he said that he had taken the truck and the owners were in the back. Oh, boy. And he was asked, what did he say he had done? And I guess Gillett had told this man, he said he had taken care of him. And they said, well, how? How did he say he did that? And this man replied, something about people's throats being slashed and strangled.
Yeah, I knew they was dead,
all that
so
throat
I wasn't
stuff.
about to ask this psychotic motherfucker any more questions. That's
hey,
how.
Give me lots of details, would you?
That's a stolen truck. The owners is in the back. I don't see them. Therefore, they're probably dead. I don't want any more information.
They
done.
probably did. By the way, the one detail that I'll give you in a minute is just the craziest shit ever. So they had no money. They wanted to get the fuck out of here. They made $500 worth of meth is basically what they did, which is easy to do, I guess, if you know what you're doing.
What's your motherfucking plan, sir? I mean, honest to God, what's the point of all this?
March 29th in Kansas here, the couple had, remember how they had warrants out for them and shit for drug shit? Right. Well, the cops got wind that they're back in town. So
your big plan after murdering people is go where you're wanted?
Where you have the only place in the country where there's active warrants against you.
Idiots.
So I mean, the opposite. Where would you go? Well, I don't know, not Kansas. I know that much. Right to Kansas. They're fucking morons. Oh, to his dad's farm were the first place they'd look for him too if they were looking for him from another state. So the investigators had dropped their surveillance after they hadn't seen him in a couple weeks. They must have skipped town. But near the end of March, they learned they had come back, and so the sheriff's department set up surveillance on a farm a little while out of town, and they started watching him. On March 29th, Lisa Joe and Roger are arrested for drug charges.
Yeah.
Just drug charges. That's what they have them on. Now, Chamberlain is questioned later in the day, and we'll talk about her interrogations. But she thought she said she wanted an attorney, and then she ended up agreeing to talk a little bit, and she told him who she was, gave identifying information, and then she declined to answer questions that day. All right, then. So the investigation here, obviously there's a lot of evidence. Shit's been loaded into a U-Haul trailer, driven back to Mississippi by authorities there. In Russell, law enforcement officers at the Kansas Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant on the house where they'd been staying in Kansas. They're looking for drugs. So they end up, they obtain a search warrant. They go in looking for drug-related equipment or material, looking for a stolen white pickup, similar to one that a neighbor had reported seeing on the property. During their search, they find a white pickup with Mississippi tags inside a metal building. They're like, well, that's cool. Then they enter the wooden granary where, shit's stored. There they find a freezer that's plugged in and taped shut. They're like, there's our meth shit.
Yeah.
There's our meth shit. So they back out of the granary. They wait for more people to come with the hazmat suits and all that shit. Yeah. The guy said, quote, we assumed this was part of a drug lab and that they were making their own anhydrous. I don't know, some sort of meth.
That's a meth popsicle.
That's a meth, yeah. There you go. That's a meth Go-Gurt is what that is. You just let it drip right into your mouth.
Toss that right in the freezer. Meth popsicles.
Yep, they said anhydrous ammonia is one ingredient in the manufacture of meth, and it's generally obtained through theft of a farm fertilizer, or you can make it yourself. So they thought they were making it. So they said they got all their lab gear on and all that shit, and KBI agents arrived, and they offered to, check that out. We'll go in. We have the suits. And he said, well, fuck it. Go on, because those suits are hot. Fucking get in there then, I guess. I don't want to load up. So they do. They open the freezer expecting meth shit, and instead they see a decapitated human body.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what greets them. They're like, holy shit, what the fuck? They pull out the body, and that's Vernon's body, and they're like, there's a fucking body in here. They pull it out. There's all the shit, and then underneath, there's another body. It's
oh, no.
Linda Heinzelman underneath him, completely, together still, though. They open the freezer. They see this. I guess Vernon's wrapped in a brown blanket, and then they obtain another warrant to search the farm for homicide evidence. Right. Body is pulled out of the freezer. Like we said, Linda's body was frozen in fluid at the bottom of the freezer. And the fluid had to be thawed before it could be removed. Basically, it was 3 days before they could really get at her good. They said Hewlett had been decapitated, arms had been severed at the shoulders, Heinzelman had duct tape wrapped around her mouth and head, a plastic bag was affixed to her head by duct tape wrapped around the neck, her hands were secured at the small of her back with duct tape. So the sheriff radioed in to say, we got bodies, it's not meth shit. They thought he was kidding and hung up on him back at the police station. Like, fucking Sheriff Fletcher's such a big kidder. Fucking bodies.
For this, we got a cattle rustler.
Yeah, we got a rustler happening here. Then he said, "It's no joke, motherfucker. Get your shit out here." Like, oh shit, we messed up. Get out there. So, it's a mess. They end up finding 7 plastic bags recovered from the Russell County dump. The evidence was included in these bags are Hewlett's work uniform, a pillow, a photograph of the pillow. Why would you take I'm going to take a picture of all the murder evidence just so we can remember it by. What the fuck? A woman's purse, a coin purse, a cigarette case, keys, a camera and photos, a wallet, the remains of Hewlett's driver's license and paperwork, a partially completed Mississippi accident report form. She didn't fucking do it. They were right. A direct deposit card, a Hattiesburg phone book, and the cardboard center from a roll of duct tape. And, that's a lot, man. That's all the evidence, pretty much. They said, we had all the clothing, knives, and saws. We found everything they used during the commission of the crime. I was dumbfounded that they didn't dispose of it along the way.
Yeah.
These are the dumbest fucking criminals ever, anywhere.
Everything identifying the people, including, I wonder where they did this at. Well, here goes the yellow pages from Hattiesburg. Why
from
was
Hattiesburg?
That in there?
Well, here's his work uniform, so we can really find out more about him. We even know where he works. Now, the autopsies here. This is a little gross, so buckle up for this. And then, like I said, there's one of the craziest, weirdest, funniest things in the world coming up here. So anyway, this doctor who did this said numerous injuries to both bodies, obviously. Heinzelman had 12 separate blunt force injuries to her head that caused lacerations, mostly on the back of her head. Consistent with being struck by a hammer, by the way. They were hitting her with the hammer, too.
Jesus.
She had a large cut on the front of her right thigh, and there were 2 additional cuts on the hip region on the right side, several cuts on her neck and abdomen, a scrape under her left eye. Some of the cuts on her neck were relatively superficial, others went through the skin to the muscle, but did not strike any major blood vessels. The cuts on the abdomen went through the skin to the underlying fat tissue. Heinzelman had several stab wounds and long cuts on her back. There were cuts on her hands that were consistent with defensive injuries. This is horrific. They said that Heinzelman died from multiple injuries. She died from the sharp force injuries of the torso and neck. She also died from blunt force injuries of the head and from asphyxiation, which would be the blockage of air or blood vessels there. Also said that none of the injuries would have killed her individually. The cuts could have caused significant blood loss over a long period of time, but didn't involve major blood vessels. The blows to the head, while causing fractures, did not cause actual brain damage. Therefore, while she might have been unconscious right after she was hit, she would not have died immediately from the blows. The tape over her mouth would not have prevented her from breathing through her nose, although a fracture to her neck might have interfered with her breathing. Because she could have survived for that injury for some period of time, they rule it as a combination of injuries. Now,
what it is she was strangled.
It's the lack of air at the end. Right. But I guess it took a didn't I guess because she was dying, bleeding out, it didn't have the same whatever in the test. Hewlett had several superficial cuts and abrasions on his face, head, and neck. The more significant injuries were to his head above his left ear. There, the autopsy revealed 5 semicircular lacerations that went through the skin. The lacerations resulted in a large fracture of the skull, approximately 4 by 3 inches.
Wow,
that's a huge skull fracture, where the skull was actually pushed into the brain, resulting in brain injury. The injuries were consistent with being hit with a hammer. Hewlett also had minor wounds to his arm. They said Hewlett died from blunt force injuries to the left side of his head. So, Lisa Joe's in jail. They're both in jail, okay?
Yeah, obviously.
Lisa Joe talks to some people in the Forest County Jail. Martha Petrovsky is one person, and Marilyn Coleman. They both talk about this. They're fellow inmates. Fellow inmates.
There you go.
Petrovsky, they said that, this is what she says, that Lisa Joe and Gillett came to Mississippi to sell drugs. That's what Lisa Joe told her, and used the money to go elsewhere. But that the couples at the house had a major blow-up over damage done to Lisa Joe's car. This is a story she told this woman. And Lisa Joe got physically involved to the extent of hitting Heinzelman in the head with some object and kicking her in her side. And Lisa Joe also held Heinzelman's head up while Gillett slapped Heinzelman and told her he was going to break her if she didn't give them the combination to the safe. Petrovsky said that Chamberlain told Roger, quote, "Well, you're going to have to get a little rougher than that, it looks like."
You fucking pussy.
Up the ante. Now, Petrovsky said it was her impression that Lisa Joe egged Roger Gillett on. That's the impression that she gave her. Now, we don't know if she's in jail and bragging and being like, I'm tough. We don't know. Who knows? But this is all we do know. Chamberlain also told her that right after the murders, oh my God, when everybody was all bloody and everything had stopped finally, they had sex after the murders.
Gross.
And she said that she was caught up in the moment of it, and not the sex, the murder.
Yeah.
But she regretted getting caught because there was too many other ways they could have gotten rid of those bodies without being caught. That's why. Not because she feels bad. She's like, I was stupid. Another one, Vanessa Stringfellow, another inmate, testified that she heard in her cell, she was talking to other inmates, and Lisa Joe told them, quote, this is a quote from Lisa Joe, "After we cut his throat, we propped him up on the couch, and his head was hanging to one side, and we proceeded to have sex in front of the corpse, and it was the greatest sex that we ever had, and it was an extreme adrenaline rush."
What a dirtbag.
They propped the body up to watch them have sex.
Holy shit.
We cut your throat. The last thing you're going to see is us fucking on your floor in front of your dying girlfriend. She had to fucking be lying there next to them for that.
Best sex they ever had.
Best sex, adrenaline rush while a corpse watches us. Isn't that hot?
Gross.
Wow, that might be the craziest thing in this whole fucking case so far.
She's so sick.
Oh, my God. You think? She's a disaster, man. And he's sick as fuck. They're just the sickest people, and they found each other. There's no one to go, hey, maybe not. Instead, you have someone going, that's all you're going to do? Pussy? You can't have two people calling each other pussy back and forth. This is not okay. If you had two teenage boys doing this, they'd be like jumping their bikes off shit till one of them broke their necks. You know what I'm saying? You can't do this. So, oh, man, two officers from the Hattiesburg Police Department go to visit Lisa Joe and try to talk to her. Rusty Keys, which, again, sounds anybody with Rusty in their name, it sounds dirty.
Whoever named him.
Rusty Keys. That sounds like either a sexual move or like a 1940s like jazz piano player.
Or a Dick Tracy villain.
Or a Dick, named after a 1940s jazz player. Rusty Keys. That's Rusty Keys' best solo hits. And another guy named Terrell Carson, and they said that she refused to make a statement right away. They began. She has 5 interrogations, by the way. We'll go through them quickly here. First one, March 29, 2004, 5:13 p.m., this is when they were unaware that there was even any homicides. They were talking to her about drugs, okay? She was solely concerned. They were solely concerned with the narcotics investigation. He began asking preliminarily identification questions, and Lisa Joe claims about 1 minute into the interview, she said, I won't tell you anything till I talk to a lawyer. So the state, on the other hand, says that she said, quote, is this where I'm supposed to ask for a lawyer? And later, don't you think I need a lawyer? Which, under the Constitution in court, neither of those are asking for a lawyer.
Of course.
And even if you ask for a lawyer, they still will question you until the lawyer is there. And even then, they don't have to let the lawyer in until you physically say, I want my lawyer in here again, and then they have to let him in. So they can delay it a long time.
You have to push.
You have to know the law, put your foot down, and say, I'm not saying shit till the lawyer gets here. Fuck you. And then they're going to go, well, we'll just charge you and lock you up. And you have to go, right on. Bye.
Okay.
And that has to be okay. But they try to scare you with that shit. So, but I'm happy she doesn't know any better. This is good. So, by the way, this one didn't make, I guess they didn't get the whole interview on videotape, the whole thing. They only got part of it on there. Eventually, she said she'd talk, but then she didn't want to talk. This lasted about 6 minutes, this interview. So I guess she checked on a Miranda form that she did not want to speak to them. Didn't want to waive her right to silence. So this concluded about 5:20. So then they find the bodies that night.
Oh, boy.
Next morning, 9:43 a.m., they're like, hey, let's have a chat, shall we? They sit down with her. This time, don't give a fuck. We don't give 2 shits about the drugs. Literally,
they're like,
who
cares about meth?
Don't care about that now. Meth is the least of your fucking problems. Yep. They said, that's fine. This is about the bodies. And then she was like, oh, shit. So she signed and initialed the waiver that she would talk. This interview not recorded on video at all. Why?
What?
Who the fuck knows? They recorded the last one, so we know that's in the facility to do.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it for some reason. They said, though, they do have notes. They didn't audio record it either. Nothing, just notes.
Oh, my God.
It's 2004, guys. Get your shit together. I'm sorry. They make tiny cameras. You put them everywhere. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, according to the report, Lisa Joe describes Hullett and Heinzel's dead bodies in the living room of the home, injuries to Hewlett's neck, and Lisa Joe's assistance in cleaning the house, loading the bodies, arrangement of the bodies in the freezer, and the inclusion of the black trash. See, I almost did it again.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's one I can't say. Plastic trash bag. I just can't say it. So, including the trashtic flash bag. Yeah. So they put them in the freezer. The interview ended about 10:39 a.m. There's no evidence that she invoked her rights during this time, but there's also no evidence of anything because all they have is notes. So we don't know. Third interrogation here later on that afternoon, about 1:25 in the afternoon. This one they do videotape. Okay, they told her about her rights. She signed the same waiver, blah, blah, blah. Okay. During this interview, she's very emotional, crying on and off, and apologizing to Roger Gillett. Tell Roger I'm sorry. Tell Roger I'm sorry.
I'm about to tell him everything.
Okay. So she started to begin the details of the day of the murder, but then she started to ramble, and she couldn't provide any details. And then she said, I don't want to talk anymore. And it was over, and the interview was over in 14 minutes. Right. So they had her, and then they didn't have her. Fourth interrogation.
Okay.
About an hour later, 2:46 p.m. We gave her an hour to cool down, catch her breath. So they go in there. This one here, by the way, I don't think videotaped either. This one here is another report. The report indicates that she described the details of the murder from start to finish, including Gillett bashing Hewlett in the head with a hammer, the dismemberment of Hewlett, and finally the bodies in the freezer.
Uh-oh.
She spoke in detail about how she helped tape Heinzelman's hands behind her back so she wouldn't struggle. And, they began suffocating her with the bag. Gillett completed that process. She also said that she would she'd tell the cop if anything else comes back to her memory. If I think anything else, I'll let you know.
She's really edging them.
Yeah, I would say they're about to come hard. So the last statement she said is that she'd show them where the trash was dumped inside the landfill.
God, yeah, show me everything.
Show me all that trash, baby. Show me where you spread your trash. Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
That's when they find all the bags and all the evidence there. Mm-hmm. The fifth interrogation, Chamberlain asked to talk to a KBI agent, Kansas Bureau of Investigation.
She just wants to see one.
She, quote, wanted to talk to someone and asked to speak to one of the agents. They weren't there, so then she asked to speak to another guy who was there. Just let me talk to somebody. So I guess, she said that they videotaped this one, and she said this is when she gave a detailed account of the murders. This is a videotaped, detailed account of the murders from the beginning of it, from leaving Kansas to being arrested in Kansas.
Okay.
On videotape, the entire thing. Okay. There's that. She then takes them to the dump to show them where she put shit. That's where they get it. Now, the police have to go back to Mississippi and see what's up there. It's up in Mississippi. So they are alerted, the Hattiesburg police are alerted that a pickup truck with a Mississippi tag has been found in Kansas, along with 2 dead bodies that also might belong to your state.
Right.
Possibly, if you want those. The law enforcement officers ran a check on the tag, found out it belonged to Linda Heinzelman, and they went to Hewlett and Heinzelman's home to check them out. Well, let's see if it's them. Let's do a welfare check. And there they find a blue Mitsubishi Eclipse with a Kansas tags and a lot of front end damage, rendering it sort of undrivable. The house is locked up. Through a window, they can see a ceiling fan running, but the house is locked up. They knock on the door. No one answers. Okay, so they're like, I don't know. Then Kansas authorities go, well, you still want to go in there because this is what she told us, blah, 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 blah. There's, It's a murder scene in there. You probably want to get in there. So they go back to the house like, Jesus Christ. I guess we'll process it as a crime scene, whatever. They said the house looked neat when they walked in until they looked down and went, why is there no carpet on the ground here? There should be a carpet on the floor. That's weird. Not a stitch of carpet in this joint where there would normally be carpet. It's just subfloor. This is strange. So that's weird. Then they started looking a little closer and noticed blood on the floor, blood on the furniture, on the mattress in one of the bedrooms is soaked with blood. They also find the safe has pry marks in it, all sorts of pry marks in it, like they've been trying to get it open with some sort of instrument. So, they found the safe, but they never got it open, the safe, actually. Mm-hmm. So finally, they find out through all this, obviously the safe is the big hassle. So they get from Vernon's mother, they get the combination, they get the safe open. Holy shit. What is the fucking Hope Diamond that they have in this fucking safe, right? That this was the thing of everything?
It's gotta be a very Geraldo Rivera moment.
They found papers and documents, not a fucking one thing of value in that safe. They
found security cards and birth certificates.
Hewlett and Heinzelman's birth certificates with some papers dealing with Hewlett's work.
You bet.
That's it. That's all that was in there. Nothing else. There was like 5 pieces of paper in there. Nothing else. Not a fucking stitch of anything. Why did they not just open the safe? Why didn't you let go? There's nothing in the goddamn safe, stupid. See? There you go.
Maybe they didn't expect for them to go this far.
I guarantee you they didn't expect them to go this far.
It's just a tit for tat going back and forth.
Well, Christ, once Vernon walks out and sees his fucking girlfriend being raped with a beer bottle bent over a goddamn thing with a chicken bone hanging out of her ass, I would say that at that point you go, all right, open the safe, for fuck's sake. You want my birth certificate that bad? The fuck do you want?
You are about to be embarrassed. You just did all this for this. Look at here.
Holy shit, Geraldo. Nice job. That's exactly what it was, the Geraldo moment for them. You're absolutely right. So the cop here said it's a case like he's never seen before. One said, quote, I've been doing this stuff almost 21 years. I've seen a fair share of stuff. This is definitely one you read about happening someplace else. It was a shock to be involved in. Okay. That's like kind of the small town murder kind of code there. You hear about stuff happening like this someplace else. Not Hattiesburg, this nice little town. So they said that it fits. He said it was so heinous that he hopes they both get the death penalty. Yeah. He said that, quote, if they invite me down, I'd probably go down to witness it. I would go represent the department. Talking about
if they
in
invite
Kansas.
me, I'm gonna RSVP.
Oh, I'll show up. I'll put my best fucking boots on. I'll be down there. So April 7, 2004, Chamberlain waives her right to her extradition. Okay. She just waives it and goes. Gillett says, no, I won't go. He fights extradition. Okay. So the bond for Lisa is $2 million, by the way, when she gets back to Mississippi. The what's her name? The mother, Vernon's mother, said, I'm happy. That's a good thing. They're not going to get out. The prosecutor said she's definitely a flight risk and the case is under continuous investigation. We very well may upgrade the charges to capital murder at this point. Okay. Now, he's in Kansas, Gillett, all right? May 9th, 2004, there's an escape attempt in Kansas at the jail. Why are they always trying to get out? Him and a 17-year-old kid named P.J. Switzer Jr.
Yeah, what'd he do?
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I guess he was being transported by an officer Schmidt. This is Switzer was being transported from the exercise room in the jail where he had been doing his homework because he's a high school kid to his cell about 7:30 p.m. This guy Schmidt said he made sure Gillett was locked in his cell before taking Switzer to Switzer's cell. Schmidt he's 6 foot tall, 255 pounds. He said that during the transfer, this 17-year-old kid tackled him and took his radio.
Wow.
That is some sorry shit. Maybe less Krispy Kremes. For fuck's sake. That's not 255 pounds of muscle if a 17-year-old physically overtook you to the fucking ground and stole your radio from you. Holy balls. So he took his radio and flipped the electric switch to let Gillett out of his cell.
Wow.
And Switzer took off. Schmidt's not injured in the incident, but highly embarrassed, I would sure fucking hope.
Well, that.
So this Schmidt was able to get to a phone and call the dispatcher to notify law enforcement about the escape, and both Switzer and Gillett were caught within 2 minutes. They never got outside the walls. Wow. They got outside of all that, never got outside the actual off the property. Schmidt said he later received an apology letter from Switzer, and for his actions. They sent him I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Now he's
want to be here.
I mean, you know how it is in jail. Ain't nobody won't be here. If you weren't getting paid, you wouldn't be here neither, would you? Roger wants to fight extradition, okay? They said that they're fighting extradition on these grounds. This is the legal ground, okay? That the only link between Gillett and the state of Mississippi, him ever even being there, and doing all this comes from Lisa Jo Chamberlain, who's a co-defendant. All right. So Chamberlain's statements are, quote, unlawful and inadmissible because it's uncorroborated testimony of a co-defendant, which is not, it's uncorroborated. So they said it's unlawful and inadmissible, and the extradition warrant signed by the governors of Kansas and Mississippi is therefore moot because that's not right. The judge, though, denied those arguments and sent Gillett the fuck back to Mississippi to stand trial. He said, you got to be kidding me. It took him like 3 minutes to come up with with that one. Don't think so. Get the fuck out of this state now.
Yeah, here's your boarding pass.
There you go, Chief. Here's your Greyhound. So the trials come up here, and they were jointly indicted on 2 counts of capital murder now, by the way. Death penalty on the table. The court granted Chamberlain's motion for severance from Gillett. Okay? She's going to try to play a way different card than he does, obviously. Yeah. And they can blame each other if they're separate. That's the other thing. It's good for both of them. So Lisa Joe here in her trial, first thing she wants out is her statements that she made to the interrogators.
I don't want to talk
obviously. About that. let's get rid of that. So she said they showed the video in court to see what happened, and her attorneys were saying, look at her. She's coming from a clear methamphetamine high. She's on a whirlwind of emotion. She's wiping her nose constantly, running her hands through her hair. She's all fucking methed up. We can't count this.
Okay.
And they said, well, she was in jail for like fucking 16 hours by this point, so it's not our fault that she was coming down from meth. That's not our fault. She wasn't high. So the jurors end up being able to see this. It's an hour of videotape made by them. Huge difference between her appearance in court and on the tape, by the way.
Right.
You know, like a weeks-long meth bender and in like nice clothes and shit. She's in a pantsuit now in court. She doesn't have her hair all bleached anymore. Now it's brown, shoulder length. Her complexion isn't all spotty and with fucking scabs on it anymore. So she looks normal. They talk about the 5 interviews, and she's trying to claim that she tried to invoke her right to remain silent in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th interviews, but they kept going. She says KBI officers violated her right when they reinitiated the interviews with her the next day. Yeah. They said that she argues that all the statements made after the first interview should be suppressed because she asked for a lawyer, she never got it, and they came back to talk to her. That's how it works. So the state argues that her right to counsel was not violated because she made an ambiguous request for counsel and that the officer made appropriate clarifying questions. The trial judge finds that she confessed voluntarily and that such a confession is admissible as a findings of fact. As long as the trial judge applies the correct legal standards, his decision will not be reversed on appeal unless it's manifestly an error. So you're in. The video recording of the first interrogation shows that the guy was in the midst of asking questions when she said that she wanted an attorney. And then he said, okay. And then she eventually said she'd talk. That's how it works. The trial court found that her questions concerning an attorney were ambiguous as a matter of law and that investigators took all appropriate precautions to determine the nature and extent of the ambiguity and that the defendant voluntarily and without coercion agreed to proceed and further answer questions. So that's what they said. Now, evidence they bring in here. Lisa Joe argues that the evidence was recovered as a result of information obtained from her statements that shouldn't be allowed in. So it's fruit of the poisonous tree, they call it. That's legal terms. That's what they call it. So they said, nothing should count at all. I'm good. Cross my arms now. And the judge says, oh, absolutely not. No, it's all coming in. You don't want to testify. That's totally cool. It's totally your right. But we are going to have you in court talking to the jury.
We're going to have your words. Yeah.
For hours. Then we're going to line everything up and show them all the evidence. And then they're going to be totally into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have one of those. And there's that. So the trial goes on. They have all of the evidence, all of her statements, all the physical evidence that backs up her statements. She's fucked.
She's in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
She's fucked. She should have pled to this if possible.
This is not good at all.
This is a case you plead guilty to and hope that they give you and hope for life because you're fucked.
What'd she think she was going to get?
Well,
she's going to fight this and get away, get off with nothing? Is that what she thought?
I think she did. She thought maybe she could blame it on him, probably. I mean,
she's out of her mind.
He thinks he could blame it on her, so I think that's what they both think. The jury, after about an hour and a half of deliberation, which isn't very long, they find her guilty of capital murder.
Oh.
Now, sentencing, her psych background comes up, and this is some interesting, disturbing shit in her background. They're trying to get her off the death penalty here. It's apparent that she was basically, the way the psychiatrist puts it, quote, it's apparent that abuse and neglect were a central part of Chamberlain's life. As a small child, she saw and experienced abuse, verbal, physical, and sexual, something which Chamberlain described as normal. Normal for kids to be abused that way all the time.
Darling, no.
She said the abuse came from men and women, family members and non-family members alike. The abuse also continued into adulthood. This is the way the guy puts it as her childhood. Quote, in Lisa's childhood, she was abused in multiple ways. Her biological father was physically abusive to her. She was also physically abusive. He was also physically abusive to her mother. Her parents divorced when she was about 3 or 4, but he had abused her severely. Lisa's mother was bipolar, had bipolar disorder, and she was also a severe alcoholic, which is great for bipolar. That's just whew, man. She also physically abused Lisa. Lisa was physically and sexually abused by her brother, her half-brother, that is.
Oh, my God.
This occurred when her mother would be out doing what she did in terms of being with men and bringing men home.
Jeez.
So her mother would go out to the bar to pick guys up, and then her brother would be molesting her at home. I did also mention that Lisa's mother also verbally abused her, according to Lisa's friend Veronica, in whom Lisa confided during those early years. And she also heard this herself. Lisa's mother would call her a slut and a whore and say, quote, you're going to grow up and be just like me, a slut and a whore. That's what she'd say. So she called herself a slut and a whore while yelling at her daughter, saying you're going to be just like me.
You'll do the same thing I do, right.
Wow, talk about, you don't need to go very far for the psychology on that one. No. Jesus Christ. So her mother also got remarried, so she had a stepfather. That stepfather, of course, physically abused her as well, because the mother's going to pick awful people. Also abused his own daughter, who was Lisa's stepsister. In the 4th grade, her 4th grade teacher sexually abused her.
Oh, my God, what?
Not only her, but other girls in the class in the process, and it did come to light as well, and the guy ended up getting in trouble for it and all this type of shit. But this apparently deeply impacted her performance in school. No shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, if you're physically afraid of all of your teachers, how the fuck are you supposed to do your work?
You're physically afraid of your home life, then where you go to escape that to be safe, you're being abused there just as bad or worse.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So, fuck, man. The Dr. Smallwood, this guy's name is, which is a terrible name for
it sure is.
Dr. Smallwood. Good God. By the way, I found this one case. It's a case we're not going to end up doing, but I wanted to do it just because the guy's name was literally Richard Johnson. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Then I found another case where the guy's name was Richard Woodcock. And I'm like, why are you naming your kids Richard, everybody? Stop. Think for 2 seconds.
Especially if your last name already has a phallic description already.
Two dick fucking references.
Double dicks.
Woodcock.
Why would you? Yeah. Why would
now
you
you're
do it?
Dick Woodcock. That's terrible. But that's an actual guy. So the doctor was asked in court how this history would impact her relationships with men. And this is what the doctor said. This is, it's a female doctor, Dr. Smallwood. Quote, I don't know, Smallwood, I think of a guy with a little dick immediately. Can't help it. I was so struck as Lisa told me about some of these abusive experiences with me in her early life, particularly her stepfather. In one breath, she would say it was a good relationship, and then the next breath, she would talk about being beaten and strangled. And then she would say it was a good relationship again. I was his favorite, she'd say.
Yeah, that's called cyclical.
Wow, this poor girl. And you can beat her, but as long as you go, oh, you're my favorite. Oh, he beats me the best. That's so sad, man. And what happened through those times is that Lisa came to expect abuse to be a normal thing. That's just the way it was. So she continued to become engaged in abusive relationships with men and really kind of saw those as normal. Also, even though she'd been sexually abused, she also devalued herself to the point that she did act out sexually and had not just ongoing relationships with certain men, but casual sexual relationships. And these were, I believe, direct outgrowths of the type of learning that she had as a very young child about her own worth and about just whether she had the right to have anything else happen in her life. They asked her if she was an antisocial person or a psychopath, and the doctor said, Lisa has certainly lived an irresponsible lifestyle. She's made some very poor decisions in her life, so there are elements of the diagnosis of antisocial personality that does fit the criteria. Due to that irresponsibility that I've already mentioned to you, that she was a meth addict for basically 20 years, if you've ever been around or had someone in your family who has a drug addiction, you'd know that when a person's living that lifestyle, they're extremely irresponsible, and the addiction to a drug takes precedence over even people they love. Yeah. So she does have those characteristics that she's made some Very poor choices. However, when it comes to the element of interpersonal callousness, we sometimes think of with someone who is a true psychopath, so that the person really doesn't have a conscience, or they really have no remorse, or they aren't connected with people even through, I mean, you've been sitting in this courtroom and you've been horrified by the evidence just as I was when I had to wade through it all of it at discovery. So there's certainly some horrible and callous behavior that went on there.
Yeah,
so kind of.
Remember when she leaned down and screamed in a woman's dying face?
Why aren't you gone yet?
Yeah, that's some psychotic antisocial behavior.
And said, put this in your butthole?
Right. Put this in you.
Yeah.
This nonsense. That's crazy talk.
So, yeah, it's crazy. So, also for herself, she had 2 former jailmates as character witnesses as well. So there's that. Also, her mother, Twyla Spear is her name, by the way. Yeah. Twyla Spear, her aunt Loma Wagner, and a long time that one of her friends was there. Sherry Norris, who was in jail with Lisa Jo, testified that Lisa Jo gave her a food and a blanket and comforted her when she was in jail, and saw Chamberlain shortly after Chamberlain talked to her oldest son, Gabriel, and said that Chamberlain was crying because Gabriel had gotten into some trouble. I would say you'd be acting out if your mom was a meth head who you never see and now has been arrested for a double murder. You'd probably act out from that. A Carl Di Benedetto was also in jail with her. She said she developed a friendship with Lisa that's continued even after Carla got released from jail. She said that Chamberlain gave her good advice, and she thought that Lisa Jo could do the same for other people. She testified that Chamberlain loved her children dearly, and both of these ex-prisoners asked that the jury spare Lisa Jo's life. Linda Heitzelman's father, on the other hand, said, quote, "A quick death by lethal injection is too easy for Chamberlain. For what they did to Vernon and my daughter, they should die slowly."
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. So the jury here, they said, quote, "We find the deaths were heinous, atrocious, and cruel, and done for the purpose of avoiding an arrest. You, ma'am, may fuck off. Death penalty by lethal injection." So, yeah, she gets that 3 hours of deliberation to get to that.
That's fast.
She makes a statement afterwards. After that, they let her make a statement. She says, quote, "I just want to apologize to the victims of the families. I'm very sorry. I know that you won't get to spend Christmas or Thanksgiving with your children, and my family will. I don't have any hate towards any of you for what my sentencing is. I feel that I deserve that, and I just want to say that I'm sorry." Okay. She's been like this since she's been in court. When the first bond hearing, Vernon's family was there, and she came in and turned to them and said, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," in the middle of the bond hearing, which no defendants do that because you haven't been found guilty yet.
You're not even on trial right now.
She burst into tears, screaming, saying she was sorry. So she's got fucking problems. And I think meth is her main fuel. I think when you get her off meth, then she's probably a lot different person. But it's
certainly exacerbating and not helping, not by any stretch.
You can't be on meth if you're going to do shit like she did. Yeah. That was sick. That was all very, very sick. So she's taken to the state penitentiary. They said, quote, this is a writer said, quote, "There are people who've been on Mississippi's death row for more than 20 years. This is her attorney. I don't know how long this case will take, but I would expect the appeals process to take years." Yeah. So Roger's trial quickly. They brought the freezer in and put it in the middle of the court for Roger's trial.
Oh, my God. What?
Yep. Brought it in, put it right there. Said, you want to be stuffed into that? You with another person? How about you and your significant other stuffed into that freezer? That's what they're saying to the jury.
Just put a whirlpool right in the middle of the courtroom.
Right there. Put this freezer. So they said, quote, they, meaning Gillett and Chamberlain, were mad. They were both very angry at Linda. Something about Linda wrecking Lisa's car. And going on like that was their big deal. Yeah. So doesn't take a lot because her whole interrogation is in this. So, I mean, he's fucked. He's fucked. That whole videotape is played here. He's in deep shit. So he is convicted of capital murder as well. Yeah. During sentencing, a pastor from the University Baptist Church told jurors that he met Roger Gillett through the prison ministry.
Don't care.
He said Roger wanted very much to be baptized. Well, good. He can see if heaven's real after we kill him. That's fine. No, and I don't, again, we hate the fucking death penalty and all this type of shit. I want to fucking personally strangle this asshole. That's what I'm saying.
These two are disgusting.
They're terrible, terrible, terrible people, these people. But I mean, again, this is all, it'd be fine to just put them in forever, I'm sure. And we'll find out why, because we always talk about the money spent on it isn't, even if you want the death penalty, most of the time you're not going to get it because the legal hoops are so much, and these people don't fucking do it correctly. So if they don't do it correctly, they leave a legal loop open. They have to fucking, an appeal, it's going to come down. You can't kill someone.
On appeal, these things get turned over all the time.
20 years of court costs we all have to pay because you guys want to feel good for 5 seconds. Not you out there, but whoever's doing this wants to feel good for 5 seconds and go, we got justice. Mm-hmm. That's great and all. And as you know, my family, my great-grandmother had if you heard the details of it, you go, well, that's a death penalty case. Sure. We didn't want that. That wasn't
Florida.
In Florida. Right. Yeah. Tied an old lady to a chair, ransacked her house, and cut her throat. That's because she wouldn't tell her where the money was because she didn't have any.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking open and shut. But this lady got 20 years. She was 20 years old and a crackhead. And we were like, well, what the fuck? Were we going to fight this for that? It's bullshit. So not worth it. Anyway, moving on. That's just that's how our family handled it and all that shit. You can handle it however you want. But either way, Roger's faith is absolutely genuine, this man says. I believe fully that his life, even in prison, can be a benefit to many people. Many people. Oh, yeah. His mother came up and said, when Roger was a small child, my brother was an alcoholic. He was more like my son than my nephew. Oh, this is his aunt. I'm sorry. He was more like my son than my nephew. It's very hard for my family to have to live through this. This is Marcia Gillett. And the district attorney, though, said, quote, because they talked about his hard childhood and all this shit. Yeah. He said, quote, lots of people have hard times. Does that separate you from anyone else? All I saw today was people who knew him. I think everyone in this court can get a group of people together to say, can you spare his life? Yeah. Which is true. Everybody can bring 5 people up there going, I would like him not to die. Everybody's got that.
I've probably got 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm sure. A bunch. So, we have probably more than that just for selfish reasons of wanting the podcast. But hey, look, can you do it after Friday? Because I really want that Express to come out. So, are we getting Patreon this week? Well, we appreciate you wanting it. So, the family said, quote, this is Carolyn Hester, who's Hewlett's mother, who they ate dinner with. She said at first about him, I don't really want him dead. I want everything taken from him. Okay. Then once he got convicted, she said, I feel fantastic and relieved. And she said, it's bringing a lot of closure. Mary Heinzelman, who's Linda's mother, said, it's the greatest thing to ever happen. I hope he gets what he deserves. So in that, they do end up giving him what he deserves. In the thing, they come back and say, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, too.
He had no chance.
No, if they got her, they're getting him.
Yeah, the justice system gives women much lighter sentences. If she's getting death.
For violent crimes, absolutely.
He's going to get double.
Yeah, he's getting, absolutely. So 2008, that's statistically, by the way, not anecdotally. The statistics say that. 2008, and we're fine with that, actually. I think women are more rehabilitatable than guys are. I think sometimes guys just want blood, and that's all they need and want forever, and it's not going to stop. So 2008, she appeals based on her statements being let in and some other bunch of horse shit, and they go, no, you're fuck off. No way. It was a clean case. You're out. Roger's appeal, on the other hand, the court rejects his argument that his decision to flee Kansas in the couple's truck was unrelated to the slayings. That's his argument. That is not. The murder has to be in the commission of a robbery of another felony. Right. So he's saying to get away, that was unrelated. That whole thing. We could have taken the truck without killing him, is what he's saying. So the prosecutor said that, well, that's funny. You fled the state to cover your tracks and hide the crime. Seems pretty obvious. The Mississippi court said that it was one continuous transaction there. That's what they follow, that logic to it. It was all one big thing. It's not like this was, a month later or something. So they tell him to fuck off. Now, he goes to the Supreme Court of Mississippi, and that the high court here ends up hearing his whole thing. It's about the aggravating factors to support the death penalty. One of the aggravating factors they listed was his escape from jail.
Oh.
Okay, that was in the aggravators.
Yeah.
The problem is that happened in Kansas.
Yeah. Oh,
that didn't happen in
state.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
You can't use that as an aggravator here, they said. Because he hasn't been convicted of it. It's just a thing that has. So can't use it as an aggravator. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court decides that because that was used as an aggravator, death penalty is thrown out.
That's the
resentencing.
Point. You can't do
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. So he is resentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off again, life without parole. So he's sent away.
Remains?
He is offender number 133700, in case you're looking for him, in the state of Mississippi. Lisa is currently the one and only woman on Mississippi's death row.
Holy shit.
She is still there. So, I mean, who knows what'll happen with her, but
because they didn't fuck up and try to get her on some escape charge.
That's it. They didn't. And I mean, she could now, I don't know what kind of appeal she has left, but I don't know if she can then have a proportionality thing of how can this person who actually essentially pulled the trigger, smashed in the skull, did the cutting, the strangling, the beating, how can they not get death and I get death, which is a lot of times how they'll end up getting it that way, thrown out. So either way, that's how it works. And
he's got to be so grateful that 17-year-old tried to escape.
Yeah, no shit. Thanks. Yeah, he'd be fucked otherwise.
You fucking idiot.
You fucking dildo junior. Thanks a lot. PJ Shitbag Jr. Thank you. Wow. So that is Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Wow, man.
One fucking hell of a weird, twisted, crazy goddamn case, right? Holy shit.
What a disgusting murder.
Absolutely hideous and awful. You can't get any worse than that. That is just...
That's one of the worst I've ever heard of.
Oh, they tortured that poor woman for 3 days. They fucked in front of her, everything else. It's disgusting. The whole thing is gross. They sexually attack her. They fucking mentally, physically, verbally.
Get your shit together, Mississippi.
Fuck, man. Holy shit. I don't even know how that could be avoided, because I feel like even if they put in for the insurance coverage and did all that they wanted, they're also crazy meth addicts, so they might just snap and kill you because they think you did something wrong. Who knows?
They're clearly capable. Yeah.
That's Hattiesburg, Mississippi, everybody. Hopefully not all the time, just that day. But either way, there it is, folks. Hope you enjoyed that show. If you did, please tell everyone about it. Not only can you tell all your friends and family and whoever the hell else you hang out with, social media and all that, tell everyone on a review. Do it. Whatever platform you listen to, give us 5 stars. It really does help drive a podcast up the charts. For some stupid reason, it's part of the algorithm.
It's bizarre.
It's not our algorithm. The fuck do we want? So we can't do anything about it. So do that. Also, follow us on social media, where you'll get updates to everything like that and find out what we're doing and what's happening with the show. At Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So do that. And also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's where it is.
Holy shit, can you get stuff there? Merchandise. We got so much stuff. We have our coloring books are up. We got the murder birds, this thing, that, all new stuff. If you hear it and think it's funny, we might have a shirt for it, or a mug, or a floor mat, or a folder, or a binder, or we have a million fucking different things on there. Shoes, there's skateboards you can get, anything you want. Check it all out there, shutupandgivememurder.com. In addition to that, you can get tickets to live shows. Holy hell, are we doing that? 2 shows we know have tickets available. Most of them are sold out. Keep checking back, though. People can return their tickets, so you might have a couple pop up here and there. But I know New Orleans, tickets are open for that. New Orleans, get your fucking tickets now. Do that, please. Milwaukee at the Pabst. Hey, Milwaukee, don't let Chicago punk you. Chicago, they were saying, we're the best city you have. Really? You're an hour away. You're going to let them fucking punk you like that? And on top of that, if you're from Chicago, it's like an hour 20, and we're doing a different case than we did when we were in Chicago. So if you want to see a second show, totally different show that you did not see before, and you went to the Chicago show, drive up to Milwaukee. We took the drive. It's like an hour 20. It's easy as shit. Go up there and see us.
It's flew for 7 minutes.
Which was, hey, what's going on? Ridiculous. So do that. Come see us there. Also, I think Tampa, Orlando, the club dates, San Francisco, those club dates. So because They're changed, and there's like 2 shows each, so you can get tickets to those as well. Check all those out. shutupandgivememurder.com today. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get the bonus stuff, all the extra stuff. Yes. Yeah, there's crime and sports every Monday. Yeah, there's Small Town Murder every Wednesday night and a Thursday. Right. Yeah, that's right. Small Town Murder Express comes out every goddamn Friday. You can't get enough? We got more shit for you. We do. We have Patreon episodes, and they're fucking amazing. I got to be honest with you. They're so really funny. We don't put it this way. We retain about 99% of our Patreon people because the episodes are so fucking good. We have people that have said, like, I'm giving up my coffee for a couple days because I'm not going to lose Patreon because it's $5 and I want it. So that's how good it is. Anybody $5 or above at patreon.com/crime and sports, you get access to better than what?
Better than a caramel macchiato. That's
better.
Great.
You get access to all of our shows, damn it, all of the Patreon, Crime and Sports Patreon, Small Town Murders Patreon. This week, anybody $5 or above, the episodes you're going to get access to, not only the entire back catalog, which is there, over 150 episodes. There's got to be close to 200 by now. I don't even know. Shitload of them on there. 150 or so. I don't know. There's a bunch on there. Check those out. We have this week for Crime and Sports, which you'll get. We're going to talk about the downfall of Coach Bobby Knight, who was the most kind of iconic. I mean, he won national titles, and he was the man as a college basketball coach. Whole time he had this terrible temper. He treated everybody like shit, and then it finally bubbled up to where university couldn't ignore it anymore. The publicity was too bad, and it was starting to cost them money, and they had to fucking finally let him go. And it's a wild downfall. It's like in 1 year he went down like Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation, fucking shot down a hill. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about some interesting shit. We're going to talk about some prison shit. We've had a lot of people ask us to talk about prison stuff. So we're going to talk about an almost 30-year-old documentary on HBO Max.
God, it's so good.
It's so good, called Lock Up Rikers Island. It's the most real, rugged, fucking raw, gritty. It's kind of what documentaries later on in the late 90s were like, oh shit, we got to be grittier than that.
We got to do that.
I mean, that's a real gritty documentary. If we're not doing that, it's like regular TV, like it's bullshit. So it's wild. They're going to talk all about some nasty shit, and then also we'll talk about some other prison stuff from all around, kind of weird quirks, and different states have different stuff. Maybe we'll get into different countries. It's crazy stuff. Get all of that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Like we said, anybody $5 or above is going to get that and a shout out. And but it'll also get you a shout out is going over to PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That'll get you on there as well. That said, Jimmie, hit me with the list of names of people who would never, ever, ever, ever assault me with a chicken bone. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Cody Leverseek, John and Susan McQuilkin. Happy birthday, Brittany. No last name.
Birthday,
but
Brittany.
If you need to know who you are Melanie's Jimmie to her James. That should give you enough clues because that's all the information I have.
You're the drunk one. That's what that is.
Adam Jones, Jordan Bennett, Rebecca Aubrey, Will and Maddie, Weed Saviors of Detroit. Do you remember them?
Yeah. I do. Wonderful
Thank you
people.
so much.
Thank you.
Dakota Plain, Paul in the UK. And our other producers this week are Corporal Carl Kirshner, Peyton Meadows.
Solid
Peyton Meadows,
Corporal.
Isn't it? It is Meadows.
I think it is Peyton Meadows.
Robert Hortelling. That's a fascinating name.
Hortel, please.
Hortel. Happy Hour, taking his life into his own hands on a cruise ship. Darren Mihal and Jess Stope just got married. Happy marriage. Congratulations.
Happy marriage.
We're the reason they know each other. Frank,
cool.
South African birdwasher, Janice Hill, Diane Taylor, fighter of the Nightman, James. That is Dayman,
The
correct?
Dayman, obviously, clearly. Yes, obviously.
Jeremy, Marie Nuss, Oladipo Jibawu. Oladipo. That's all I do know because I watch basketball. Donald Bowles, Jason Zeke, Mike Welshans, Eaton Beaver. I hope you're proud of yourself. Emily McCarthy, Tom Regan, Lisa Ross, Todd Elliott, Jamie Hama, John Boone, Michael Doney, Catherine Bartolomucci, the Mooch. That's who it is. Ann Rieger, Daniel the concert photographer, Jake Ham, Malik Delfish. Oh, boy. Chrislyn Stewart, Matthew Boone, Lee Frenzy, Eric Lemons, D. Thad Art, Cassie, nope, that's just Cass Robbins, Dark with no last name, Lieutenant Dan's Legs, Kyle Oliver, Rebecca Caparros, Chris
Capical.
Richter, what is it?
Capical. I just want
Dr. T. Jr., Daniel Davis, Alec Craig, Hannah Szalowski, Courtney Forrester, Aaron Nelson, Taylor Nakahara, Teresa Von Eberstein, Dave Henry, Alice Cordova Potter, Roger One Bun, Janice Trufant, Bosco with no last name, Sissy Romero, Corey Euling, Jamie Stevenson, Major Lindbergs, I think, Logan Ryan, Madison Borth, Cleed with no last name, Bethany Latch, Jordan Rash, Connor Fugate, Sandra Stalkey, Peter Della Penna, Kayla Bodnovich. I don't know. Eric Honesty, Kermit Paddock. I think it's Honesty. It may have been something else, and that was corrected to that. I don't know. Kermit Paddock, Jeff Wyman, Dustin Huffman, Maddie Fitzgerald, Nicole Rhodes, Rain 55, Nikki Jamison, Alicia, obviously. Mount.
Did you say Dustin Hoffman?
Dustin Huffman.
No.
The poor bastard. He could.
I know.
You could use that as some marketing somewhere.
Scam
Dustin
somebody
Huffman
somewhere.
will be there. People will show up and be like, "Who the fuck are you?" Michelle,
I don't look like him or anything, but
Devin T, Melissa Hardman, Andre the Midget, Rissa Rue, Jeremy Underwood, Marissa Borse, Megan Press, Amanda Schmitz, Jennifer with no last name, Randy Warmeister, Mr. Pyro, Baka Yamakokaro.
yeah, you got it, Jimmy.
Joseph Luciano,
Bullseye.
SG, Kyle Hinley, Lizzie Miller, Joshua Gray, Adam Vasquez, Bridget McLemore, Robert Goins, Cindy Ross, Brandon Zuni, Katie Mertis, Sarah Warren Aver, Big Pimpin' 25, Haley, Tegan, Lucas, those are all first names. Scott Fox, John Moravets, Plays with Scissors, John Carey, Amy Bella Belter, Sarah Mack, Matthew Pierce, David Gillespie, Guido Pudi, maybe Putty, I don't know. Beth Faring, Farrington, Laura Blackberg, Locke Holmes, Heather Guthrie, Brenda Dunn, Ja Crow. Yes, Noah Marsters, Sebastian Hartley. It's really coming undone. Lisa Cordova Gomez, Pamela Doyle, Michael with no last name, Johanna Simpson, Jade Freeberg, Katie Johnson, Lance with no last name, Michael Ross, Diana Sigsby, Z 411811. Could be somebody's employee number. I don't know. Erica Clifton, Lola M, Ryan Wheeler, Tiffany Custer, Steven Sewell. Jason Barham, and Brian and Stephanie Kirchhoff. Thank you guys so much, especially you and also all of our patrons. You're amazing.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful people. We appreciate every goddamn thing you do for us more than you could possibly know. Thank you so much, honestly.
You make it all worth it. Thank you.
You really do. It's everything. Thanks for coming to the live shows. We love to see you so much out there. We've had a blast so far doing these live shows. Even though the road sucks once we get on stage with all of you guys, we're like, this is so worth it. This is great. We love it. So thanks for hanging with us. And if you want to find us a little more on social media, very easy to do that. You can just Google Small Town Murder Podcast hosts. Yes. There's only two of us, goddammit, and here we are. And either that or just go to shutupandgivememurder.com where there is links to all that stuff. The show's social media, our social media, everything you could possibly want. Keep doing it. Keep coming back, goddammit. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus